Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy. You may be surprised to hear that I am happy to be here today. I am Woodsy. Oh, is that?
As usual.
Wow, that's porno on there.
Turn it down.
Okay.
As you introduce everyone, I can't help but laugh. I'm looking at us on our YouTube stream. We did not coordinate
Oh,
this.
my God. No! We don't. No!
You're all in solid plain black T-shirts as though
we're mourning.
We are in some sort of
my God
Monday morning period for the Padres season.
I didn't notice.
I didn't either.
Swear to God, I didn't notice.
Until Paulie called up the YouTube stream.
Oh, my God. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
It's like we called
my God.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? Well, let's just go with plain black T-shirts so we can all totally match.
On my kids, there was no discussion. There was no text threads. It's embarrassing to look at. Jesus, dude, are you kidding me? Oh, no.
We can start our own catering company.
Welcome to the Ben and Woods Funeral Home. How can we help you? I was going to say, how can we take your order? How can we help you? Holy crap, you guys. This is unreal.
Attentive but understated service from the Ben and Woods crew. You won't even notice they're there. They'll just be there to fulfill your every need.
Why?
This evening's meal.
Why did we do this? Yours looks brand new out of the package, is it?
No, I just threw this one on this morning.
Paulie and I 100% have the same brand. Fresh,
clean threads.
Thread. Is it fresh, clean threads or fresh, clean tees?
They used to be fresh, clean tees. They rebranded fresh, clean threads.
This is embarrassing. I can't even look at the chat. It's so embarrassing.
Says Heaven's Gate Day. Do we have our purple shrouds ready as well?
This is terrible.
I just pulled up a sample funeral reading.
Oh.
I'd just like to start by welcome everyone.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here today as we share in this service of love for our beloved San Diego Padres 2023 season. For those of us who knew the San Diego Padres 2023 season, we will never forget the way they made us feel. They had that warm, welcoming smile that radiated peace and comfort and said, I accept and love you.
They didn't.
For who you are.
They never did. This would be one of those funerals where it would be like, hey, if it was for the Padres, you'd be like, this guy was terrible.
Not a great guy.
I'm glad he's gone. Just a massive disappointment every day. It wasn't even that he was just a disappointment. Like, he literally would just kick me in the nuts and run away. And he made his money. He made his money every day. And but he took mine and took my heart, took my soul. So I'm glad he's dead. F him. And let's all go to the reception and get hammered. That would be the thing for the Padres this year. But we'll get into all of that. But the three black shirts is incredible. I mean, and it just something in the universe reached down.
Your
and
wife
said,
Hannah says you guys look like you work at Mac. Yeah, I've been there before. Get my Studio Fix NW35 for television.
If we're working at
powder,
we're working at Mac is in desperate need of help.
Trouble.
Good Lord.
I know hiring's tough right now.
Jeez, man. This is terrible. This is terrible. It's embarrassing. I can't believe this. It's one thing if two of us do it. It's another thing if all three of us are in all black on my kids. This was not planned. Oh, my God.
That is good.
Speaking of kids, I'm Woodsy, by the way. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
It's great to see you. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. And then to my left, your friendly your friendly radio. What? Your friendly neighborhood broadcaster, Ben Higgins. Hi, Ben.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. That was probably the best 5 minutes of the show right there. First 5 minutes.
You're not kidding. It's going to be tough to top. I'm currently trying to teach my 5-year-old to read. It is perhaps it's my day consists of going from an awful Padres baseball game that took my soul out and stepped all over it into a bedroom with my 5-year-old and learning how to read. And there's these little books and we're going through them. And it's so hard, but it's also so fulfilling when they get a word, but then the word like, and that they've read already 70 times. They look at it, he's like, Andy? It's not Andy. You've already read this one. You've done this one before a bunch. A-N-D. D. Andy. Nope. It's and. I don't know that I'm the right guy to.
Well, it's like baseball. Just because you hit a home run in one at bat doesn't mean you're going to hit one in every.
He'll be like, Sam sat on the cat, no problem. And then he's like, Matt sat, and then it's and he's like, Andy. Matt sat on Andy. I'm like, it's not Andy, it's and. And I'm sure
you reading.
It's like these little. They're like training, but then you see him like get it, and he rips through one of the books, and you go, oh my god, my little guy's reading. So it's really, really cool to get to work with him on that every night. But yeah, you want to have him set up. He's got kindergarten starting in a few weeks. You know, you don't want him to be the kid in class that's like gets nervous when the teacher calls on him. So trying to do a little work. And the good thing about him,
it's kindergarten. They're not testing him the first day.
I get it.
How well do you read? Get up here and show the entire class.
Well, let me tell you though, I remember the kid in kindergarten that like would get called on and be, you know, like his parents didn't do anything with him. He had I want him, and he's so diligent. He likes the work. So he puts in the work, which is really great. So I'm not too worried about Bo as a student. I'm really not, because he really will put in the work.
And I'm not too worried about you and Hannah's parents.
Well,
you will do
it's
more than enough to have him ready to succeed at school.
The good thing is he asks me, Dad, can we go work on reading? I'm like, yes. So he's got that in. So I'm doing that.
That's
kind of a cool
the proficiency will come. It's the love that sometimes is hardest to instill, like wanting to do it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're already well on that path.
Yeah, he's got that down. So that's been an interesting thing we've been doing every night. And you want your kids to excel and stuff. So it's been a really fun, but also albeit very challenging part of my days.
David says in the chat, all I need is some glasses.
There we go.
To really match. You take
off your hat
put
and
your
then
on.
Let's put your glasses on. Now, Paul, take off your hat.
Take off the hat.
All righty. There we go.
How we doing?
Take your hat. Yeah, there we go.
Even us out a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at us.
Twins, triplets. We're now the triplets. Shall we just do everyday color coordinates? Wear the same tea color each day of the week.
Wednesdays we wear pink.
That'll be our thing as a show now.
We'll be like in sync, just always in matching outfits and stuff. How was everyone's weekend? Did you guys do anything exciting?
Avoided the heat.
Avoided the heat. That's not super exciting.
To be honest, I had a crap sack of a weekend.
A crap sack.
It was awful.
People say that?
People say crap
I don't
sack.
know. I just may have made that up.
I like that.
Let's see. I played my worst round of golf of the year on Saturday morning.
Okay.
Then watched the Padres implode in the first game of a doubleheader.
That was fun.
I had to go to work and fill in because Steve, my other guy, was off. So I had to work all Saturday night, which I don't usually have to do, while watching the Padres just fall apart in the second game of the doubleheader. Yesterday morning, I did sleep in a little bit, and that was nice. And then I went back to work and watched the Padres, waited through a rain delay, then watched the Padres agonizingly lose again. It really wasn't a weekend at all, actually. I'm actually happy that Monday morning has arrived to end the weekend and join my two identically dressed co-hosts.
Yesterday hurt more, I think.
Oh, yesterday was
just because
horrific.
I mean, Saturday sucked.
Yeah,
Saturday
really
sucked.
It's a long crap day.
But Sunday, I'm like, all right, game starts at 10 o'clock, whatever, 10:30.
Yeah, be done by 1.
Out of here by 1 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Nope. 3-hour rain delay. Like, ended up going till what, 5 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock? Like,
it's terrible.
I just wanted it to be over.
We'll get into it. I've got something I was noodling on in my brain all weekend. I think it's going to surprise some people, and it's based on some of the response that I saw over the weekend about the word apathy setting in for fans, and I've got a different take on that. I'll give that to you guys. 6:35, right around Padres Wrap-Up.
You had me nodding in agreement before the start of the show.
That's
and I go,
rare.
Woods, you have nailed it this time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to you sharing that with all the tier ones, because I think I think you're absolutely right in the way that we should all be approaching the rest of this season.
Yeah, you did have some good sports. I know you watched some Wimbledon.
Oh, my God, that was great tennis yesterday. Great golf yesterday.
I'm so bummed that I missed Wimbledon. I had way too much going on yesterday morning. I had both kids, and I wanted to see it, but I, of course, read all about it, and what an incredible what a sporting event, number one, 5.5 hours long. That match went between
Novak Djokovic
and
Joker. Carlos, it's Alcaraz. Kind of like Alcatraz.
Alcaraz. 20 years old against 38-year-old Joker, and a 5.5 hour epic battle between them in Wimbledon. And Alcaraz came out victorious. But some of the other kind of parts of the story were fascinating, just fascinating. And really had wished I had time to sit and watch that yesterday, because that would have been really, really sweet. I've got a doctor's appointment today, so you guys get me until 9:30. I've got to haul ass up.
Paulie, get ready for some golf talk. Oh no, we got Sammy at 9:30, so we're fine. We'll talk with in-season Sammy when you're gone.
They said, look at this. I have to fill this out at some point during
all of that paperwork.
Yes, and I'm like,
you're having your liver removed?
No, this is for my hands. I'm trying to get to the bottom of where the pain in my hands is coming from.
Good.
And so they sent me that and said, fill it out. And I'm like, it's 2023. We're still doing that. We're doing the thing where I have to fill this out before I go. Like, isn't it your job to ask me these questions and write them down? That's kind of how I feel about it. And then they're going to hit me with a deductible. I don't know what it is. I have no idea how much this is going to cost or anything, but I got to get to the bottom of it so I can get back to doing some of the things I enjoy doing, like, holding my children and playing the guitar and playing golf and stuff like that. So I'll be filling that out during the course of the show. And then, I'm going to split at 9:30 when you guys have Sammy on. Nothing against Sammy. Sammy, by the way, how about a huge shout out to that guy for his work this week?
Doubleheader and a 3-hour rain delay all in the same weekend.
Gnarly, man.
That's called pre and post game show host nightmare weekend.
Texted a little bit with Jesse Agler the other day after the Saturday deal. He goes, he said it wasn't the best day I've ever had in the big leagues.
Jesse ticked me off yesterday.
Did
he? Yeah, he did. Jesse said something that actually made me kind of upset.
What did he say?
You want me to tell you right now? All right, I'll tell you right now.
No, save it.
All right, I'll tease it for after the Daily Ditty. I will tell you it's a grand old Monday. That means we have one of our friends from Cespedes Family Barbecue join us. It'll be Jake this week. Jake Mintz at 8:35. It was an interesting first weekend of the second half of baseball with some very pivotal series all around Major League Baseball, and the Los Angeles Angels now reportedly listening to trade offers on Shohei Ohtani. I'll spoil it. Padres don't look like they're going to be involved in those Shohei Ohtani trade talks, but he could be on the move in the next couple of weeks, which makes this a very interesting trade deadline all of a sudden. We'll talk about all of it coming up. Jake will join us at 8:35, as I said. In-season Sammy at 9:35 this morning. All guests on Bennett Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. It circles back to Paul again for a Daily Ditty selection and theme choice. Find out what that is.
Feel good about this one.
All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes, and then I will tell you why I was mad at one of my favorite people, Jesse Agler, yesterday. Coming up next, after our first check of traffic, Kelly Danick standing by. It is Ben and Woods and Paul, all in black T-shirts this morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Fly By Night, Rush. What could Polly's theme be?
Fly by night away from here.
Vacations.
Songs from Paul Rudd movies.
Yes, that could be one.
Could be. Oh, that'd be good.
Vacations.
Wasn't where I was going.
I love this song.
Songs with Fly in the title.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
more of a Take on Woods theme.
It is. That's true.
Where are the Padres off to?
Canada.
Oh, Canadian band?
Canadian
Bands and
bands.
artists
Smart.
from Canada.
Very smart. I like that. Got a noggin
That's
on
it.
him over
I
there.
like that. Canadian bands.
A lot of good choices.
Really excited to see what that Blue Jays offense is going to do against this bullpen. Real excited.
Haven't they won like 9 in a row? Or
Yeah,
something?
those guys can mash. It's going to be really
Kind of
cool.
sick of heading into a series. Hey, this team's won 8 in a row.
Doesn't
or
matter.
12
I mean,
of their last 13.
It's so much evidence built up this year that it really doesn't matter who we're playing and when.
Usually not. The Mets were red hot
Yeah.
going into the series. Padres took 2 of 3 going into the break.
We have been the team that teams get hot against, which has been really cool this year. That's been a really fun little aside, being a Padre fan this year. So that's been awesome.
So here's why I was kind of ticked off at our friend Jesse Agler yesterday. I was listening on my drive into work, and they have their question of the day that listeners submit a question to Dave Marcus, the producer of Padres broadcasts, and then he picks one, and Tony and Jesse answer kind of a behind-the-scenes, usually question of the day during the Padres broadcast. And the question yesterday was, what do teams and players and coaches and broadcasters and everybody do when there's a long rain delay? That's a good question. Like, hey, okay, you had 3 hours to kill unexpectedly yesterday. And Tony had a really good answer about being a player and how difficult it really is to, think you're gearing up for a 10:35 start. And then all of a sudden, you can't just shut it down completely because you still have a game, but you don't know when it's going to start. Your routine gets completely thrown out of whack, and you got to kind of stay sort of locked in, but you don't want to spend all your energy. And it's a real challenge. And he said, especially when he was a young player, that was really tough. And then they started talking about what do broadcasters do. And he said, that's not as big of a deal. Just sit around, shoot the breeze. And Tony had a great answer. He said, usually we eat out of boredom.
Yeah.
And they have, spread up there in the media press box. And they talked about how good the spread is in Philly, one of the best in the league. I've never been to Citizens Bank Park. And Tony Gwynn goes, and what they're famous for is they have this whole little ice cream room for the media where you go in and they have this great ice cream. He said yesterday's flavor of the day was salted caramel pretzel, and you can make sundaes, and it was outstanding. It's like the highlight of the year for any broadcaster to get to go through Philly, to go through the ice cream room. What a great treat. And here's what ticked me off. Jesse said, I've never tried the ice cream here in Philadelphia. That disciplined,
That made you mad.
that disciplined little broadcaster. I mean, every time he's been there, dozen times?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Dozen times. They go there every single year to Philadelphia, maybe outside of the pandemic year. Not once did you cave to the temptation of the ice cream bar that is supposedly amazing and readily available. How does he do it? He goes on the road and he stays disciplined the entire season. He's a marvel. He really is.
There's a chip in people's brain. I don't have it. There's a couple of things. I was talking to my wife about it the other day. The only things in my life I've been disciplined about, maybe ever, is trying to get rest for this show, right? I'm disciplined about this show. I cannot, if you heard this show on Thursday, I was out till 11, woke up, which was not good. One of my worst days I think I've ever had on the air. And I wasn't hungover or anything, but being disciplined about this radio program, I'm good at it. And I have good discipline at it, and I stick to it. The other thing has been quitting my own personal Twitter. I've been very disciplined about that. That's the only 2 things in life that I've actually did and stuck to. But when it comes to food and stuff, Ben, oh man, the discipline. My wife put out a tweet over the weekend that she showed me some of the responses to. Asking what I wanted for my birthday, which is Wednesday, by the way. And somebody said, I'm going to get Woodsy a knife so he can cut a breakfast burrito in half. I go, buddy, you can cut it into 12. I'm still going to eat all of it. It's not the cutting it's the not eating the rest of it. You can cut it into 12 thin slices. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat it like it's sushi. I'm going to pick it up, dip it in salt, then pick up the next burrito roll.
I
Hey, by the
love
way,
that. I love that idea. Burrito
idea.
sushi. That is a really good idea.
not my worst
Pick
idea
it up, dip
at
it in the
all.
salsa,
You
you
won't-
pop it in.
By the way, you won't feel so bad.
Let's start this company. We can all wear black shirts.
Yeah. And we'll cater it to you. And we get one big burrito and slice it into thin pieces. You dip. You can even use chopsticks if you want.
Sure.
Dip it in the salsa. Tasty. Nice and firm. So she that one guy in there suggested a noose too, which I thought that was a nice touch to hear from one of my fans. Get him a noose. And I went, oh God,
Hey babe,
that
happy birthday.
stings. Here's a noose. I thought, well, that's joking about somebody dying is never funny, my friend. So I don't know if he was joking around or not. Saw a lot of some of the responses murdered me. Did you guys see some of the responses to this? Because I'm getting old and falling apart. People are like, dude, get him Metamucil crackers. Get him these little copper hand sleeves. And she's like, oh, he's got those. I mean, you should see my bedside table. You guys.
I didn't see responses. I saw
Filled.
Megan said she sent a picture of ambrosia
Salad. I love ambrosia salad. I'm the one human being alive that likes ambrosia salad. So yeah, some really nice responses in there too. Bobby Cressy had.
I saw Bobby. I did see Bobby's response. Yes.
He said, get a hotel and a sitter and bring a friend, preferably female. I go, Bobby, come on.
Wow.
That's over the top. That's over the top. As I grin from ear to
It
ear.
is your birthday.
She looked at me and she's like, you little turd. But no, so that was fun. Her showing me some of those. But yeah,
It would be as fun if you got to the hotel with Hannah and then I was there smiling.
there's Ben in my room. Hey guys, we doing dinner first? Should we just get this
Said
out
bring
of
a
the way?
friend.
So let's just get this out of the way. Go to dinner. Holy smokes. All right.
Let's hit the ice cream bar.
Yeah,
That
let's hit the
sounds
ice cream
good.
bar. Yeah, listen, I can't hate on Jesse Agler for his discipline. I wish I had it in regards to food. We're all trying. We're all trying to be a little bit better. That's for sure. But coming up next, you guys, I want to get to, obviously we're going to do the recap, but I'm not going to cave. I'm not going to let apathy take over for me personally. And again, let me preface this by saying I'm going to say this black and white. You can choose to believe me or don't. It's not because I work here. It's not because I work here. I may not work here in 6 months. That's a fact. We don't know yet, right? Deal's not signed. I'm not doing this because I work
Fair
here.
enough.
But I'm not going to let apathy
all the
take
tier
over. And I'll
ones,
tell you why.
To all the tier 1 Padres fans, you do you the rest of the season.
100%.
I mean, we'd love it if you keep listening to our show, but you do you when it comes to how you want to fan the rest of the season. But I think Woods is going to nail it 100%. And if you're like me, you're going to be nodding in agreement with what he has to say coming up. Also talk about a game that got my hopes up for just
me too, man.
Just a second or two. Just for the briefest of glimpses, I thought maybe something possible here for this team. And then like usual, they pull the rug out from under us at the end.
It might be my fault because as I was preparing dinner to cook for the family, you know what I told Hannah? I go, if we win this one, this is one to build on. It's the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death.
I have the same feeling.
Yeah, it's kiss of death.
We'll talk about it coming up next with our Padres recap. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And I tweeted after the Padres fell behind 5-3 yesterday, going into the 7th inning. Yeah, I mean, all they really have to do is, score a couple of runs, shut down the Phillies for a few innings, and then win in extra innings.
Piece of cake.
I mean, it shouldn't sound as impossible as that sounds. But that, at the moment, it felt like there's no way this team can do that they can bounce back, pick themselves up off the floor, score a couple of runs late in the game, and then have their bullpen shut out another team for 3 or 4 key innings to win in extra innings. And then, lo and behold, what happens? They get the big hit from Tatis in the 8th. They tie it up. The bullpen actually does its job for 5 innings. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Yeah. Didn't give up a run. The maligned bullpen doesn't give up a run for 5 innings.
Gave up.
They did in the 6th, but
no, they gave up the tying run. Hader gave up the tying run.
That's true. Yeah,
they gave up the tying
run.
Run.
The 10th. Yeah, but for the most part, bullpen did an okay job yesterday, and then they still found a way to lose it at the end. It was just doubly agonizing from where the Padres have been this season. I am. Let's get to the Padres recap because I want to hear what Woods has to say and his philosophy now going forward for this Padres season. We'll get to all of it coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Couple problems here, guys. One of them is this collision on Northbound 5 at the Hawthorne Street off-ramp, and got a stalled vehicle in the left lane on Northbound 805 right before the 15. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinstsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinstsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Hey guys, it's Woodsy, live from the Crapper again.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the game.
God, here we go.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
Here's the 2-2 to Kim, and that's it in the air deep down the left field line. Schwarber back towards the corner. He looks up. It's going to go. A leadoff home run for Ha-Sung Kim. And the Padres jump in front 1-0. That's the Pods' 4th leadoff home run this year and the 2nd for Kim. Here's the 0-1. Bogart sends it in the air to deep left field. Schwarber back again. At the wall again. Looking up again. Gonna go again. Padres with another home run. They have played long ball here this weekend in Philadelphia. Xander Bogaerts' 11th of the season doubles the lead. It's 2-0 here in the 4th.
Bogey goes big fly.
2-2 to Grisham, and Trent swings, hits it in the air to left field, deep enough to get the run home, maybe more. Schwarber turns around, bangs off the wall. Another extra base hit. Carpenter going to score. Grisham in his 2nd with his 2nd double of the day. And the Padres lead it 3-0. 2-2 to Schwarber. And he hits it high and deep to right field. That one's going to go. Line drive deep into the lower level down the right field side. Schwarber is homered in a 3rd straight game, and it's now 3-2 Padres here in the 6th. 1-2 to Real Muto. The pitch from Lugo hit on the ground and fair down the left field line. Manny Dove couldn't quite get there. Both runs are going to come in and score. A 2-run double for JT Real Muto, and the Phillies lead for the first time today. It's 4-3. Now 3-0 to Ellis with the bases loaded. Pitch on the way is outside, ball 4. Another bases loaded walk. Real Muto will come in and score, and the Phillies lead 5-3. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fernando hits it on the ground to the left side. That'll go into left field and a base hit. Tim has scored. Machado's on his way. Schwarber's throw to the plate is not in time. And Fernando comes through. A pinch hit, 2-run single. And it's 5-5 here in the 8th.
Padres showing some fight.
1-1 to Soto. Here's the pitch from Strahm. That's missiled in the air out towards left center. Rojas over and back. He makes the catch. Grisham will tag. He'll come in to score a sacrifice fly. And the Padres are back in front. It's 6-5 in the 10th. Here's the next pitch. And that's it in the air to center field. Grisham charging, and it gets down for a base hit. Line drive single from Bryce Harper to tie the game. 6-6 here in the 10th. He's set. Here's the pitch. Schwarber swings, lines it towards left center. Soto backing up. He'll make the catch. Sosa tags. Throw home, no chance. A sac fly, and a 12-inning win for the Phillies. Well struck by Kyle Schwarber to left field. Soto did everything possible, but it was always going to be deep enough to get the job done.
How many times did you guys feel like you guys were close to finally kind of breaking the 0-8 extras, just the way the game was going?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is. We don't really care. We care about the losses, and we lose. So whatever the record is, it is. But we're just trying to go out there and fight and try to win a ball game. We're down. They came in, scored a couple runs. We came back and tied the game in the late innings there, and we take the lead in extra innings, and just keep fighting. Just continue doing that.
It's actually now 0-9 in extra inning games this season for the San Diego Padres. They're the only team in baseball that hasn't won an extra inning game. And they've had more chances than most, and they are 0-9. Now 5-16 in one-run games this season. But to me, the most incredible of those stats, Padres are now 6-28 in their last 34 games that were decided by 1 or 2 runs. 6-28 in close games. That dates back to, I think, sometime in early May when that streak started, that they have been unable to find a way to win more than 1 out of every 5 close games that they are playing. It's staggering. There's no way any team, no matter how much talent you have, is going to be able to overcome that in the course of a season. You do that, you are doomed to a disappointing playoff-less season. There's just no other way about it. It's sad.
Yeah, that's this series. We made a lot of it on Friday, and I think for good reason. Came out, won the first game, and you started feeling pretty good about how it was going to go.
It looked great on Friday,
and you had leads.
Yeah, they looked okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the end. They had to bring in Josh Hader.
Their wins.
I mean,
even their wins.
That was costly. That was costly the next day.
Their wins. That was a win on Friday night. Felt like a loss, right? There was not just.
I didn't feel great after.
There was not a clean, easy. Oh, okay, 8-1 victory, game over. No, you get the tying run on deck or whatever, and you got to bring your closer, and it's like, good God, man, like. Win a laugher every now and then, and win it. Play a complete game, complete first pitch to last pitch. But the way I look at it is this, Benny. I saw yesterday. I logged onto the Ben and Woods Twitter and was answering some listeners that had tweeted us over the weekend, and I saw a lot of the same comments about apathy is starting to set in, and I listened to it, I absorbed it, I waited a beat before saying, yeah, you're right. I'm apathetic about this team. And I will say this. That's exactly what they want you to be. They want you to be apathetic because this has been a massive disappointment, a massive, massive disappointment. This has been one of the most disappointing baseball seasons I can remember. Certainly the most disappointing baseball season since I've been here. 2021 was pretty rough. Was just reading back on some of the numbers of 2021. You remember we were well in it. We were well in it up until September. And then in September, Ben, we went 7-21. And we watched this team quit. We watched them just throw in the towel.
Not our opinion either.
No, confirmed by the players.
Inside the clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. We quit.
We kind of quit.
We kind of quit on it. 7-21. Outscored by their opponents by 53 runs. They were eliminated from the postseason with 7 games left to play, more than a week left in the regular season. Cost Chase Tingler his job. And I thought to myself, oh, you guys would like that, wouldn't you? You'd like it if people stopped caring and stopped screaming at you and stopped, caring about your poor play. And I thought to myself, I can't see that again. And we can't hear that again. There were a lot of injuries that year, a ton. No excuse. I mean, that's That's when you need to have depth so that you don't have to go get Ross Detweiler and Vince Velasquez to throw meaningful starts in September. Jake Arrieta, who they weren't good and they weren't effective at all. And I think they'd love nothing more than for people to be apathetic. It excuses a little bit of what I think is going to happen if this team continues to fall.
I mean, they've already sold the majority of the tickets for the rest of this season.
Oh, yeah, they're good. They're good in that regard. But I'm going to be watching this team like a hawk. I'm going to be watching them like a hawk, and I better not see what I saw in 2021. Just we don't care. We're not taking an extra bag here. Not getting dirty on that one. Not going to pick that ball. Not going to dive for that ball. We saw it, man. We saw it. A lot of Hosmer. Manny had said, he's like, yeah, we were breaking down, and we just quit. And I can't see that again. I'm not going to see that again. You better not do that again. You can't do that to the city again. Who, by the way, bought every season ticket available, 39 sellouts, 41,000 deep at Petco every single night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You better not quit. You may not make it, but you better not quit, dude. You better not quit on this team.
This was what had me nodding this morning before the show when Woods told me this, because you are absolutely right. When September rolls around, and if the Padres continue like they're going, and they are out of it, the 12 games out of a wild card, the season is done. If you bought a ticket and you are at the game, you still deserve to see the best that you can get from Manny, from Xander, from Soto, from Tatis, from everybody on that field. I mean, it doesn't. Hey, they may not win when you go, but you deserve their best effort, the best show that they can put on the field, and we will find out. I disagree with people who say the reason the Padres are in this mess is because they didn't care, they were lazy, they were apathetic. I disagree with that. They are in this mess because they have not executed when they have needed to as a team on the field. I don't think it has anything to do with how much they want it, how much they work, or how much they care about it.
Well, and the architect of the team has left many holes.
True.
Many holes.
But from this point on, you're going to find out which kind of players you actually do. And I hope AJ Preller is watching as closely, because you're going to find out the players that you do want around going forward. Because I promise you, there's a lot of guys you still want on this team.
Well, there's a lot of guys that you're absolutely locked into on this team moving forward. That you have no choice.
You are, but to the guys you can count on, I think you're going to find out more about those guys in the next 2 months than you would have expected in a season that they aren't going to be playing for anything other than the name on the front and the back of their jersey and their teammates and the fans of San Diego.
Yeah, the 41,000 filling Petco Park, buying every jersey, every iteration of every jersey you guys put out, buying theme tickets to get bobbleheads, like that are showing up for you. This team deserves, if you're not going to be a winner, then we deserve a fighter. I mean, I'm serious, and it doesn't mean anything on record wise. It doesn't matter how many. I don't even care what your record is in September. If you're out of it, and it looks right now, Benny. I mean, it looks. Let's be completely honest. They're 10 games out right now. What's their wild card standing?
They're 8 games out in the wild card. Yeah. I mean, it's not over.
It's not over.
I mean,
they're not mathematically eliminated, certainly.
They could go on a 6-game winning streak right now. They do exactly what we told everyone needed for this road trip. 7-3, come home at 500.
But it would be their first 6-game winning streak in over 2 years.
But there's no reason to think that they can do that. They'd have to do something that they haven't, double their longest winning streak of the season. They'd have to overcome. They'd have to win a start without one of their better starting pitchers. At some point, they're either going to have another Weathers day or a Waldron day or a bullpen day coming up on this road trip, because it doesn't look like Walker's coming back. Plus, they, even when Blake Snell pitches great, they still find ways to lose games, like they did on Saturday morning. So there's nothing that makes you think that a 6-game winning streak is coming up for this team right now. No. If it happened, sure. Yeah, we could still talk about being buyers at the trade deadline, and they've closed the gap enough that, but why would you think that at this moment? That would be
they've given us no
illogical.
Reason.
That would be illogical thinking.
They've given us no reason. But I'm telling you, man, I cannot see again what I saw in 2021. I just can't see it. The fans, everybody deserves better. And because listen, their checks are still going to cash every single week. Every single week, that money's still coming in, and you do have a duty to your city that you play for and the fans. You do have a duty to go out there and play your very best. And hey, listen, weird stuff happens in baseball. I absolutely know that. Teams get overhyped. They don't live up to the hype. It happens every year in every single sport. They fall flat on their face, and that's what we've seen this year. But you better not quit, man. You better not quit. You better not.
Now, if they are out of it and the powers that be decide we need to sit some guys for their health and not play everybody, I'll understand that. You want to save some arms, all of a sudden a little soreness in the elbow. There's no reason for a guy to pitch through that at the end of the season if you're not going anywhere. And if that's the case and they go with the guy who's probably not as qualified to be up there, that may happen in a lost season.
Well,
but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be putting in the effort. When you're on that diamond, you owe the fans the maximum effort.
Absolutely.
The Padres also can be smart and judicious in their use of players and get guys off their feet a little bit more if that's the case in September. But doesn't matter who's out there. They owe these fans the best that they can give the rest of the season.
And let's be perfectly clear. September is still a ways away. All right. You got the rest of July and you got the rest of August. But you do have a trade deadline coming up pretty soon. And it's going to be on you, the players, to either right this ship starting tomorrow in Toronto or limp back here, with what do they got? 6 games left. Limp back here after winning 2 games, maybe 3 games max. And then it's time to say goodbye. You got to say goodbye to some of the guys in your clubhouse. And it's nobody's fault but yours.
And it'll be a punch in the stomach when that happens.
Yep.
When Blake Snell and Josh Hader get traded, as they should be, if you're going nowhere. And you're going to have to take that punch, and you're going to have to keep going out there and fighting every single day, knowing the reason they're gone. It's not because of AJ or management or Peter Seidler or the fans or the media or anyone else. It's because of you guys that you didn't get the job done.
Right.
You forced them to make what was the only smart move available, and that would be trading away free agents to be and starting to retool for next year. That's on the player.
I mean, and I'm not sitting in here saying I don't want to see them rip off 6 in a row. I absolutely do. I think that'd be fantastic, and it would make it interesting. But, man, if it doesn't go your way, you better not throw in the towel. You better not throw in the towel. We've already seen it. We've lived through it as a fan base. We don't want to see it again. And the fans of this city do not deserve that. The people, the little kids that go pack Petco Park, they don't deserve it, man.
Good stuff, Woods. I got into it with a few people on Twitter about the decision to pitch to Bryce Harper.
How is that a discussion?
I know there's people out there who are questioning Bob Melvin and that decision yesterday. Let's get into that. We'll play a little Take on Woods, all coming up next. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on the way. I always feel like I need to preface these discussions when we look back at other decisions that could have been made over the course of a Padres game. Welcome back. It's Ben and Woods, Monday morning, 7 a.m. on 97.3 The Fan. Because obviously the decision they made didn't work out for the San Diego Padres. They lost that game. So literally any other decision,
could have worked.
You could go back in time, do something different because what you picked didn't work. And I'm specifically talking about the bottom of the 10th inning. Padres had rallied to tie and then take the lead on a Juan Soto sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th yesterday. And Josh Hader comes in. I mean, Bob Melvin rolled the dice with Nick Martinez for a couple innings. It paid off.
Did really well.
And he had his closer available with the Manfred man, the runner out there on second base, having to keep him from scoring. Get 3 outs before that guy could come around from second to score the tying run. You win the game. You split the series. Not only that, while you split the series with Philly, you gain ground on the Diamondbacks, the Reds, some other teams that are struggling in front of you. And you actually can say you may not have won the series, but it was a productive weekend for the Padres if you get those 3 outs. Hader gets the first 2 outs.
Well, dude, yeah, it's that, and it's, hey, we were down, and we clawed our way back.
That too.
We put good ABs together off a really,
feels
really
like a significant win.
Yeah.
Feels like a significant win.
Tatis off the season was hanging in the balance when Fernando Tatis Jr. stepped to the plate.
Manny called it a must-win game on Saturday.
Yeah.
On Sunday. So everyone knows how important this is. So Hader gets 2 outs. The runner moves over to third. And Bryce Harper steps to the plate. Bryce Harper, who, of course, broke our hearts in the National League Championship Series against Robert Suarez last October. Bryce Harper, former MVP, one of the best players in baseball, hitting about 300. And, the decision has to be made. Do you pitch to Bryce Harper, or do you intentionally walk him to bring up the next batter, JT Realmuto? Now, the book, as it were, in the history of baseball, tells you lefty, that's always an advantageous matchup for the pitcher. You've got a lefty and Bryce Harper up. You've got your dominant lefty closer on the mound, JT Realmuto, going to bat from the right side. You're playing into the advantage. Yes, not as good of a hitter, but a better matchup in terms of pitcher-hitter. You also, the book tells you, don't put the winning run on base freely, automatically.
Correct.
If you don't have to.
Correct.
Because if Bryce Harper goes out there, all of a sudden, a double probably wins the game.
Not probably. A double wins the game.
Bryce Harper's a good runner. He'll be moving on the, moving on the pitch, moving on contact with 2 outs. Very good chance a double ends the game instead of needing a home run there, a single ties it. So the Padres decide to pitch to Bryce Harper, and of course, you know what happened next. Single to center field, dropped in front. It was hard hit. It was, Bryce Harper did it again.
Yep.
Wasn't a great pitch. It was up by Hader and on his best offering. It was on the outside part of the plate, but we know Bryce Harper can hit that. And it was a bad pitch. I still think it was the right decision, though, to go after Bryce Harper there, try to end the game, and not freely put the winning run on first base in the bottom of the 10th inning.
I mean, things are going so bad. I guess I'm not surprised people were complaining about that. But, that's the matchup we all wanted back in October of last year, the Hader against Bryce Harper. And man, I listen, that was a heavyweight battle, right? That's exactly what I told my wife. This is 2 heavyweights right here. This is great. This is what baseball is all about.
You're going to win some, you're going to lose
some. Lose some.
Out of 10 of those opportunities, Hader does get Harper a few times.
Yeah, but I do
Bryce
not.
Harper's a really good player.
I do not put the winning run on base freely. I don't. Because then if Realmuto hits that ball in the gap somewhere and the game's over, what did you do? Here, it's yours. Take it. Take it if you want. I thought it was a no-brainer. I don't know why it's an issue. I understand. I know why it's an issue because this season is spiraling down the toilet. I get that, but I have no problem with that move. None whatsoever. And
now in hindsight, if you told me Bryce Harper's about to get a hit and tie the game,
sure,
I'd say go ahead and walk him because, it's easy when you already know the outcome.
Well, if you were going to walk somebody
after it's already happened,
if you were going to walk somebody in that game, I would have put Kyle Schwarber on. that's one.
So we need a contestant for Take on Woods because I want to get to the second part of that. 833-288-0973. We're still qualifying listeners for concert tickets, trips to Las Vegas, Our musical trivia game is coming up in about 4 minutes. So call now, 833-288-0973. The same suggestion was made in the 12th inning when the Padres did not score, and then in the bottom of the inning, the Phillies bunted the runner over to third. So 1 out, runner at third, and Schwarber is coming to the plate. Absolutely red-hot hitter who has torched the Padres multiple times, 3 home runs in 2 games. He's hot. And I saw it suggested they should walk Schwarber here to set up the double play.
Yeah, that was I put it in the in our group thread. I said, you want to walk a guy, I'd start with this one.
But I think that ignores the fact that Trey Turner is the next batter.
Yeah.
There may not be a harder batter to double up in the league than Trey Turner. You can't even play depth. I mean, it's hard enough on a routine grounder to get him at first base when you're not throwing to second base.
You got first and second, then
it's first and third.
Sorry, yeah.
And then you could walk Trey Turner too to set up the force at home. But guess who's coming up? Bryce Harper is now coming up with the bases loaded and a chance to win the game. I don't know.
Well, you needed to score. You needed to
strike out Kyle Schwarber in that situation. And Kyle Schwarber, as good as he is, he is prone to the strikeout. At that point, you can pitch carefully to Turner. Sure. You can pitch carefully to Harper.
That's a good point.
You did walk him. Then there's still 2 outs. Bases are loaded. And you take your chances with JT Realmuto there in the bottom of the 12th inning. But you have to, I think in that situation, you absolutely have to pitch to Kyle Schwarber and try to strike him out. That's your best way to make it through and get to the 13th inning. But in that inning, the Phillies were incredibly well set up to win the game.
Yeah, and you had your chance.
You needed to win it in the 10th. You needed to score more runs. Those were the failings of the Padres. It didn't come as bad as the bullpen has been. I don't blame Tim Hill at the end of the game there. You're not going to stop the Phillies from scoring in that situation. I don't think any bullpen really has much of a chance to stop the Phillies scoring
back to back
again in the 12th inning with the heart of their lineup coming up, a runner at second. They execute the bunt, get the guy over to third, and they got Schwarber, Turner, and Harper coming up with 1 out. It's pick your poison. What are you going to do in that situation?
Good point. No, and like I said, I got it. I wasn't screaming that he needed to walk Schwarber. I just said, hey, all right, if you want to walk somebody, the guy that's locked in, it's beach ball time for him right now. Sammy Levitt with the tweet of the day yesterday. I thought Padres did not have a hit in the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th innings. Phillies win it 7-6. Not going to win if you can't hit. You're just not going to win those games if you can't get a knock, Ben.
It's too bad because they made some good plays. Gary Sanchez.
Oh my God, one of the better plays you'll see.
Made an incredible play to gun down a runner at third, keep that game going. They fought tooth and nail, but again, they did not execute when they needed to execute. In a game where they got the big pinch hit from Fernando Tatis Jr. They actually came back. Somehow this season, it's never quite enough for the San Diego Padres. It's never quite enough, and they came up short, and that will be the epitaph of the 2023 San Diego Padres. Your new slogan, we came up short. San Diego, it's not a great slogan.
No, it's not.
But that to me is it.
Padres fever, better than dengue fever. I was thinking about some of these this morning.
It's always next year.
Always next year. We're the Angels. We're the Angels now.
Angels lost a heartbreaker yesterday too.
We burnt the cake. We'll try again next season.
Yeah. Bring the gold. It's rough.
What's a worse shade of yellow? Like a
urine
mustard
yellow.
Urine yellow.
Urine yellow. Yeah.
Urine. Got a contestant?
Yeah, we do. Let's get to it. Let's play some Take on Woods. Oh, we got one of our regs on Take on Wood, but it's been a while. Roger, good morning. How are you?
Good morning from beautiful Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh,
how you doing?
On the road in Nashville. A long distance Take on Woods.
I like
today.
when Roger comes on because it's probably going to keep Woods in a bad mood.
Yeah,
because Roger's good.
Roger, Woods,
no pressure.
Woods is left. This month's grand prize, the drawing is for a 2-night stay at the Westgate, Las Vegas, and 2 tickets to see Skid Row and Warrant in concert at the International Theater at the Westgate on September 30th. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. Check out the new rooms at the Westgate, Las Vegas. They have done a $70 million room renovation package. It's the home of legendary Vegas fun. You get to pick our category today in our musical trivia contest. bringing back, but who's counting? All about counting. The mystery category. I know Roger could handle that one. Or our new category is Can't Do It. 5 song titles that begin with the word can't. So, Roger, what are you going to play? But who's counting? The mystery category or Can't Do It?
Well, for the most even playing field, let's do mystery.
I like it. People
level.
are afraid of the mystery category, but Roger is not. So here's how the mystery category works. We start with a 2-second song, and then the title of that song determines the theme for the rest of the questions. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as possible. If you want, you can pass. We'll come back to it. Then Woods comes back in. Same questions, and we compare scores at the end. Beat or tie him, you qualify for Vegas. You know how it works, so why don't we just play? Roger, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. It is the mystery category. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Roger. Let's take on Woods.
The Look, Roxette.
Correct. A standout from U2's Joshua Tree album. Which song with an 8-word title focuses on the theme of spiritual doubt?
Still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Correct. Which band is best remembered for their early 70s hit, Brandy? You're a Fine Girl.
Looking Glass.
Correct. Singer Johnny Lee was doing what in All the Wrong Places on the soundtrack to the 1980 movie?
Looking for Love.
Correct. John Fogerty sings Do, Do, Do right before the 5.
Looking out my back door.
Oh, wow. See, he's so good.
Let's go.
He's so good. Roger, you're in, as usual. Put that name into the drawing. That is a perfect 5 for 5. I don't need to go through the answers again. The category, of course, look was the key word from The Look by Roxette. So let's bring Woods back in. All he can do is tie. I think he can do this. I think he can. All right, Roger's score is locked in. Let's get our 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods gets his headphones on. Time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Roger.
Pass.
A standout from U2's Joshua Tree album. Which song with an 8-word title focuses on the theme of spiritual doubt?
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Correct. Which band is best remembered for their early 70s hit, Brandy? You're a Fine Girl.
The Austin Hedges special. Pass.
Singer Johnny Lee was doing what in All the Wrong Places?
Looking for Love.
Correct. John Fogerty sings Do, Do, Do right before the 5-word title of which 1970 CCR song?
Do, Do, Do. Something look.
Do, do, do.
Oh, Looking Out My Back Door.
There you go. Let's go back to the 2-second song.
Is that the Friends song? No, I don't know what that is. Pass.
All right. Which band is best remembered for their early 70s hit, Brandy? You're a Fine Girl.
Looking Glass.
Correct. Back to the song. Last chance. What's the theme?
Look away. I don't know. Did I lose? I got
Roger wins at 5-4. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Looking Glass, Looking for Love, Looking Out My Back Door, and that was Play It, Paul.
Look.
You're gonna kick it. You're gonna kick yourself on this one. Gonna kick yourself.
Nothing?
What has she got?
The Look. She's got The Look.
It's by Roxette.
Yes. Son of a.
That was the mystery category. The Look was the theme, and Roger wins at 5-4. You did well, Roger.
Good.
Roger is. I mean, honestly, someday we need to have Roger in as our, like, when they do this, like, celebrity, the tournament of champions.
Joe, Roger's
like Ken Jennings. He'll get to host the show when you're on, and you've passed away. It'll be Take on Roger.
Oh my gosh, man!
And people will call in to battle Roger. Roger, great job. Paulie, I'm sure has your information by now, but you're in the drawing for July.
I swear, I thought that was the Friends song.
There's a little bit of that to it.
Wow.
Oh man! All right, Don't Do This is coming up next.
We have Dodger fans in our chat, which is weird. That's a Don't Do This for me.
I've got one of them was like complimenting.
I've got bad fans.
Said we're
in
the
my
best
crosshairs
show
today
that talks baseball in their market.
Oh, that's fantastic. No one talks baseball in LA.
And
Lakers.
that was the follow-up.
Lakers and the Rams.
How's that Lakers summer league talk
Yeah,
going right
seriously,
now?
it's wild to me. Like the Dodgers, like I don't like the Dodgers, but like I'd be talking about the Dodgers every day if I had an LA sports show.
I've got to don't do this.
Okay.
Comes from Friday night's game.
I
had a buddy that was listening to the game on the Phillies radio broadcast Friday night in Pennsylvania. Said you guys have to hear how their radio team just called the Soto home run.
Oh, this is good. This is good. They got real. Their panties were very, very much jammed in a bunch.
We go out to Looking Glass as we check traffic. Be back with Don't Do This next on 97.3 The Fan.
do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron. Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply is teaming up with 97.3 The Fan to give one lucky listener the chance to win a luxury suite for 20 people for the upcoming home baseball game on Monday, September 18th versus Colorado. Visit 973thefan.sd.com/garden for details and enter to win. All right, I'm going to start Don't Do This today. Put the fans in the crosshairs in 2 different sports. First, at the Tour de France. All right, it's a big cycling race. We don't really care as much anymore. I've kind of lost my interest after all the Lance Armstrong, drama a few years ago.
Did you have great interest in it, and then Lance Armstrong broke your heart?
A little bit.
Did you?
I actually followed the Tour de France, but like when he was winning a bunch in a row, it's like this American's dominating.
It was awesome.
It was like the Tiger Woods of cycling.
But
I kind of got into it a little bit.
Didn't you know then? Like when we were watching Barry and Sammy.
No, I was innocent. I didn't know.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know McGuire
know.
in '98.
It felt like a good story. I mean, he came back from cancer, and
it was a great
he felt
story.
like an American hero at the time.
Where was I born and raised?
Texas,
bro. You couldn't go anywhere.
Live strong.
Oh my God, you couldn't go anywhere. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Shake a guy's hand. Guess what he's wearing? Live strong.
It's soured a lot of people on the sport. But they still do this every year. It's an amazing test of endurance.
It's incredible.
And they have fans, lining the towns and mountains of France watching
anxiety.
The race. These fans are the worst. I mean, first of all race long, they throw beers on people as they're going by, like drunk fans. You think that happens just here at Dodgers games. It doesn't. But this was horrible. So a fan tries to lean over the side of the road to take a selfie of himself with the riders coming up, doesn't get out of the way in time and causes a massive pileup, a crash that took out about 20 or 30 drivers during the 15th stage of the Tour de France. I mean, a guy taking a selfie brought the whole race to a screeching halt over the weekend. So that's bad fan behavior number 1. Bad fan behavior number 2 comes from the American Century Championship. It's the celebrity golf tournament they do every year up in Lake Tahoe. And it was pretty exciting over the weekend. Steph Curry made a hole-in-one on Saturday, which is worth 8 points in the modified Stableford scoring system. So that gave him the lead going into Sunday, but he was trailing going into the last hole. Former tennis player Marty Fish had the lead.
What a story he's got.
Had the lead on the 18th fairway, on the 18th tee. Steph Curry was, I think, 3 points behind. Marty Fish goes up to hit his tee shot on this par 5. Critical hole. And here's what happens in his backswing. Right as he's going back, did you hear the fan go, ah! Yes. Right as he's at the top of his swing, blew it 40 yards to the right, ended up punching out, got on the green, made a par, but that's, that's no point. So it gave Steph Curry a chance with a birdie to tie and an eagle to win. And Steph Curry put his second shot on the green about 15 feet, rolled in the birdie putt or the eagle putt to win as it's about 2 feet from the hole, just like on a 3-pointer. He turns his back to the cup, starts celebrating, running to the cloud. It goes in. Everyone goes absolutely nuts.
It's almost unfair.
Some guys have all the talent and luck. I mean, not only is he the greatest shooter in NBA history, also a dang good golfer, and he wins the celebrity championship with an eagle and a hole-in-one over the weekend. Congratulations to Steph Curry, but man, I am jealous of that guy.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Little guy too. I mean, not for.
You'd be surprised how big.
He's
if he walked in here,
tall as Ben.
If you walked in here,
he's like 6'4".
He's my height. Yeah.
He's my height.
You'd be stunned if you walked in here and you go, "Well, who's that big guy?" Go, that's Steph Curry. NBA guys are all
smallest
tall.
guy on the court.
It's the smallest guy on the court.
He's 6'4".
He's my height.
He looks like a little bub out there, dude. Hey, little guy, you hit the ball a long way. I'm actually 3 inches taller than you, pal. Well, good for him, I guess. I can't hate on it, man.
No.
It's amazing. Just
It was fun to watch.
to be that good.
See him just sprint up the fairway.
Well, this is the antithesis of sprinting, Paul. Paul had got a text. Who is this from the other night? This is fantastic.
Our buddy Alex, he texted me on Friday night and he said, listening to the game in Hershey, Pennsylvania on the radio.
Yeah.
You should hear how their radio guys just called the Soto home run.
Okay.
They're mad that Soto got extra time in the at-bat.
He hurt his hand. They were
very upset about
It's been happening all season long. Philly fans, man, I got to tell you, congratulations on taking 3 of 4 from us. And that being said, you guys are softer than Cheese Whiz. They really are. Their beat writer, Howard Eskin or Erskine, whatever his name is, he was losing his mind because he actually said that was the 10th slowest home run trot of the year and blah, 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 and the slowest of Juan Soto's career. I'm like, you got nothing better to do than time someone's home run trot, right? So Soto hit the thing that's been happening, it's his bottom hand. He swings. It's been happening to Manny a little bit too. It's the knob. The knob, I think, is grinding into their hand.
Vibration
and it
or something.
hurts, man. It hurts like hell.
Stinger.
So he takes his time. He gets back in the box. The umpires give him extra time, as they would a catcher that wears one off the inner thigh or wears one in the throat.
As catchers do when an umpire takes
or
one.
a pitcher wears one off the shin. It's not competitive advantage to let a guy get his hands back. Gets up, hits a bomb. He does, takes his time running around the bases, but didn't do anything. Didn't put the bat between his legs and give it the old wiener air hump at the pitcher. He just ran slow. So listen to these guys pee their pants live on the radio.
1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit in the air to center field. It's hit well, and Marsh looking up, and that one is gone. A 2-run home run for Juan Soto.
Wonder if he's going to make it around the bases.
Yeah, he's taking his time.
That's just.
And that, man, he is just
I would
getting
love
base.
to see a Nolan Ryan against him. I really would.
Why, Larry?
That would not. It's not tolerated.
And he has just touched home plate. It is Soto's 16th home run of the season.
Well, and that's a big one in this 6-1 game.
So another dinosaur sitting, and Larry Anderson pitched here, I think, for a minute. He was the guy famous for taking sunflower seeds and putting them all over his face. Remember him? Remember that guy?
It's a great claim to fame.
This is what he did. And they show it on Twib notes. Hey, here's Larry Anderson. He got 80 seeds on his face.
I missed this week in baseball.
I did too.
Especially the
Twib
closing
notes.
theme music.
Oh, it's great.
Dun, 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 dun.
That being said, man, I mean, what did he do? Why do you want to see Nolan Ryan against? You want Nolan Ryan to hit him? Because
That's what I got.
Hey,
from
Nolan,
that.
what did he do? Well, he ran too slow around the bases. Give me a small break. If I were
If
commissioner,
you run too fast, that's also insulting.
yeah, exactly. If I was commissioner, I would go around. I'd spend a week with every broadcast team, and I would just sit in a room with them. Be like, here's a scenario. What do you think about this? Stop getting guys in there that do nothing but call for violence, okay, and hate the game of baseball. Please, I'm begging you. It's the best way to get the game to grow, Ben. Have people that actually enjoy the game of baseball. Really, like, you're going to drill Juan Soto because he ran too slow around the bases. He didn't run backwards. He wasn't grabbing his hog as he was backing around the bases. He just
He didn't
ran
Michael Jackson
slow.
moonwalk or
He didn't show anybody up. Like, give me a break with this, dude. I'm so tired of
And
baseball
it's not like he's a
announcers.
nobody. It's not like,
Your
rookie,
first day of the big
rookie,
leagues? Dude, no.
This
Like,
is
I'm
established superstar.
I'm so tired of it, dude. Make a better pitch then, clown. God, drives me nuts.
Finally, a little do this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Best thing I saw this weekend, the 5-set epic final of the Wimbledon men's singles competition. History on the line. Novak Djokovic going for his 24th Grand Slam title, 6th Wimbledon in a row, versus the number 1 player in the world, young guy, number 20-year-old Carlos Alcaraz of Spain.
Unreal, man.
Was such a great match. I didn't watch the beginning because it was a little early, but I got into it and went 5 sets. How many hours did it go? Like 5-hour match. Came down. I mean, Alcaraz won Djokovic won the first set 6-1. Alcaraz
6-1,
came back, won the next set in a tiebreak 7-6, then won 6-3. Djokovic pulls himself off the mat to win the 4th set. So it goes to the 5th set. some amazing tennis. I mean, the last game featured greatest lob shot over Djokovic's head I've ever seen. And Alcaraz ends up winning. He's got to be the next face of tennis, the next big thing. 20 years old, his second Grand Slam title. He already won a French Open. As Djokovic and Federer and Nadal all kind of go into the sunset, this guy is going to be carrying the game for the next, hopefully, decade plus. If he stays healthy, he's got a good personality, smiles, seems very popular, athletic, has got all the shots. Really looking forward to seeing what this kid can do in the future. But that was one of the epic matches in tennis history yesterday.
Joker was like, what are you gonna do? Like this guy, like he knows. He's been watching Joker his entire life. He knows what Joker's gonna do. Like it's a nice little advantage. But Joker, Joker's got the experience, and what a really cool story.
Youngest Wimbledon winner since Boris Becker.
Man,
I found out yesterday that the British tabloids used to call him Boris Bonker because he liked the ladies so much.
Oh,
just kind of interesting. Of course, he's gone on to have his legal problems, and I think spent some time in prison,
isn't he?
Germany.
I think he's still there.
Did
he steal? I'm going to look that up. I got to get to the
check in with Boris Becker.
Woodsy's Wednesday rabbit hole on Boris Bonker. Maybe on Wednesday.
Speaking of your don't do this and slow pitch clocks, we haven't discussed why Bob Melvin got ejected from the game yesterday. Want to get to that. The rest of the weekend, the doubleheader, travesty on Saturday, all of that coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on Men at Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Got Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Great podcast coming up in 1 hour from now at 8:35. In season, Sammy Levitt will join me at 9:35 after Woods heads off to the doctor this morning.
Don't mind me, just filling out reams of paperwork.
Got your COVID screener and all your insurance information. Your health history. Have you ever been diagnosed with any of these 700 ailments?
It's like, I just got pain in my hands. Just figure it out. Can we, please? I'd like to get back to some activities I enjoy. You know, it's tough. We got a big golf.
Does it matter that, yes, I broke my toe when I was in elementary school? Yeah, just write that down. It's all in the health history.
It's dicey. It's dicey.
Also can take some phone calls, 833-288-0973. Want to talk about Bob Melvin's ejection from the game yesterday in the 12th inning. We'll do that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change. A 15-minute instant drive-through oil change. Got a crash now on eastbound 8 right at the 15. Not showing if lanes are blocked. Several vehicles involved. And lanes were blocked. Northbound 15 past the 52. They managed to push that multi-vehicle accident over to the right shoulder, but still seeing a lot of residual slowing. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change centers are open 7 days a week. From Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
As a staunch advocate and proponent for the pitch clock and what it's done for baseball, kind of pained me yesterday to see how it was mismanaged in a critical situation in the top of the 12th inning with Rougned Odor at the plate. And I don't know that the television broadcast actually painted the entire picture of what happened with the 0-1 count. So the pitcher Hoffman was on the mound. Odor was out of the box. Runner on, so you get the 20-second clock that is ticking. But according to Kevin Acee in his newsletter this morning, what happened was the third baseman, Edmundo Sosa, noticed there was something that had floated like a hot dog wrapper or something had blown onto the field, kind of in the grass between home and third. So he left his position to go pick it up and throw it off the field while the pitch clock was running.
Yep.
That's what Odor was looking at. He was looking at the third baseman because you could see him. He was standing just outside the box, but wasn't looking directly at the pitcher who had stepped off the mound because his third baseman was out of position. Because there was a runner at second, the shortstop, I believe Trey Turner had run over to third just to make sure Matt Batten didn't take advantage and run.
Yeah.
So they moved out of position to remove some debris from the field. I think Odor logically thought, oh, hang on, timeout. We're resetting here. But the umpire never stopped the pitch clock, and then Hoffman jumped right on the mound, right at 8, and then Odor, he jumped in at 7, but by then the umpire said too late. You're not ready at 8,
garbage,
and that's a strike on
Odor.
0-1
to 0-2.
Which Bob Melvin lost his mind, came out and got ejected. Odor, one of the scariest guys in the league.
You are not
gave the umpire the death of death glares. Like, I'd be afraid if I was the umpire and I was getting that look from Rougned Odor. Ended up taking a ball and then struck out swinging. 2 strikes, real, and 1 given by the umpire. I mean, who knows? Given one more opportunity, what could have happened?
Just no feel for the game whatsoever behind the plate for the umpires. Really, I mean that is one of those where
they're terrible, and a lot that went in the Padres' favor.
Yeah,
but I kept hearing, I heard Don or Mud say, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
At least 10 times this weekend.
Letter of the law, yes, he was not in the box and ready to face the pitcher at 8 seconds.
Pitcher was not on the rubber, though. He
got on right at 8, and Odor then jumped in right at 7. But at the same time, it wasn't explained that, yes, there were all these distractions. Someone was picking up something from the field and throwing it off the field. It's the 12th inning of a critical game for both teams in a pennant race. If you can't at least in that situation have the latitude to go, hang on, let's I've seen what's happened here. Let's reset the time clock. Let's make this a fair playing field for both teams. What are you doing, Major League Baseball? That's not okay. I like the pitch clock, but there must be the opportunity in a situation like that when something unusual happens. Hey, if Odor just wasn't in the box and the pitcher was ready, bang him. It's fine. That's what the rule is there for. You need to be ready. It's on the player. But when other guys are running around, picking stuff up off the field, people are moving all around, the pitcher is not on the mound, in no circumstance should you be calling a pitch clock violation. And there, you shouldn't have called one on the pitcher either. He should have gotten the latitude to reset as well and have his time to get his signals and go through it and throw to Odor.
It was so confusing because you couldn't see from any of the angles what was going on at third base, but
there was
clearly something was going on. And when the umpires all got together, I thought for sure the third base umpire was going to be like, no, that was my time or whatever. Like, here's what happened.
You know,
he saw Bob, he kept pointing at the third base umpire, like, no, let him talk.
You know who the crew chief is, that crew. It's Phil Cuzzy, who's got... Guy's got no business being out there. He's got no idea what's happening. He's terrible. He was terrible behind the plate. He was terrible when he was at first base. He's terrible. But nothing will ever happen to any of these guys, and they're deciding games, and that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see officials deciding games. You want to let the players decide the games. Now, Rugi, just all he needed to do there was yank a ball to the right side. Didn't get the job done, but yeah, certainly one strike against him. It changes the tone of the AB. Changes the tone of the game. That's not what you want at all. But look,
Bob Melvin wasn't making excuses after the game, but he did talk about the incident after the game was over.
There's got to be a little common sense. It's not that easy in a situation like that to just, keep your eyes on the pitcher because there's a lot going on.
Even him, Odor losing that strike, getting that disadvantage. You guys didn't have a hit in extra innings. It's kind of been a theme in extra innings.
It didn't cost us the game. So, we had a run in the first one. We didn't after that. We have to be better at that. That's why our record is the way it is in extra inning games.
So Eric on Twitter says, be ready. Let the other guy get the violation. If you're a left-handed hitter, though, and you're standing and you're outside the box getting ready to get in the box, and you see the third baseman run to pick up a piece of garbage, naturals is, oh, no, I'm not going to get in yet. Let me be a good sportsman, I guess. Let's let him pick up the garbage, throw it off field, get back to his position. Then I'll get in the box. Then the pitcher will engage. This has been happening in baseball for 100 years, where you can no longer just say, hey, hang on, time out. There's a friggin' beach ball out there. You're telling me every time there's something that jumps on the field, you need to be standing in the box, bat up, ready to hit? I don't know. I don't think so. I think with so many moving parts, obviously Rougned Odor was like, no, I'm not gonna get in and be ready to hit if the third baseman's charging in to get a piece of
and the pitcher's not on the rubber.
So yeah, it all sounds fine and dandy. Like, we'll just be ready. That's not this game. That's not this game at all. That's not this game in the slightest.
I agree with Bob. It didn't cost the Padres the game.
It didn't, but
was it a ridiculous moment and something that Major League Baseball needs to address on the pitch clock? I think it
There's got to be some feel to it, man. There's got to be some feel.
And by the way, I know you can't fire bad umpires. Angel Hernandez has proven that. Is there any way you just put like Angel and Phil Cuzzy and some of the other bad umpires, put them all in one crew together, and then assign them to whatever series has the two worst teams every single series?
Oakland, Kansas City.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, too bad. You're getting the terrible umpiring crew for this series.
They
just A's around all season.
Personal valet.
No, we're not punishing you. We're not firing. We're just giving you randomly assigned series all year long. Angel, you're working with Phil. And,
it's wild, man. It's wild. It's just there's just no feel for it, and especially that situation in the game. Hey, man, it's okay to slow it down a little bit right there. It's okay to slow it down when the third baseman is off his position, running in to pick up a piece of garbage. To say, hey, we're shutting this down, reset, you're on the bump, ready, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get in the box, engage, let's go. Let's finish this ballgame. There's just no feel for it, man.
Yeah, it's not hard. If a guy's trying to game the system and trying to gain an advantage, not hard for the umpire to ascertain that and go, no, you weren't ready. Yep. That's they're going to bang you for a strike. 833-288-0973. Let's get to the phone lines. Last couple of minutes of this hour. We got Joey on the line. Joey, good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Woodsy. Good to be on with you guys.
Hey, buddy.
And, I agree with you about the pitch clock. It's kind of in the same vein for me as the replay where somebody dives headfirst into third base, and as their abdomen is going over, and they clearly beat the throw as their abdomen is going over the bag, it's just an inch or so off, and they call for a replay. There's no way that, something like that should be adjudicated. It's like, hey, look, he got there, he got the bag. Don't, get ticky-tack with, with his abdomen being an inch or two above the bag, all right? That's one thing I don't like. What I was calling for this morning, look, I'm going to go to Santee today and lay outdoor tile. So I want to get some bad juju out of me before I have to go and deal with that.
What, 115 degrees is not your style?
A ripe 92 or 3 is
right.
plenty, okay?
Balmy.
So I want to offer some comments on the Padres that might crystallize the fans' frustration. Certainly it has to do with mine. We have 2 national championship National League championships under our belt. In 92, we were 22 games over 500, 92 and 70. We took on the Tigers. The Tigers still, if I'm not mistaken, have the best record through the first 40 games at 35-5.
84, but yeah,
84, yeah. In 84, they cruised to that title. And they could arguably they dispatched us in the World Series. They're easily in the argument for the best single season team of the 1980s.
Correct.
Then we get our best record ever in 1998 with 98 wins, and the Yankees, who had 114 that year, they're in the conversation seriously as one of the perhaps top 10 best teams of all time, arguably. You cannot say that it's ridiculous that they should be.
Sure.
So this was the year that we were supposed to be the dominant team. We were going to be the monster.
Yeah.
We were going to be the ones that were going to better our all-time wins total for a season. I was looking at about a 690 win percentage. I was certainly looking for us to finally replace the Dodgers at the top of the division, have a first-round bye with the best record in the league, and skip the first round of the playoffs. And then, go through. And if we were to lose, say, the National Championship Series, but in an epic all-time great,
Game 7, yeah.
It could be, it could be acceptable. But in May, it was like, okay, the eye test and the smell test indicate to me this season is a failure because none of that is going to happen. As a Padres fan, I wanted to have that one dominant, just ascendant season that we could all wrap our arms around and feel so good about.
Yeah, you have it
and
forever.
Of course, it hasn't happened, and it's a failure. The fact that we're even mentioning the dive that we took in 2019, 2020, 21 that got Jay Stingler fired, it's really, really unfortunate.
It's tough,
and I'll just say one more thing. And I really appreciate that Bob is trying to get, he's getting thrown out of these games. He's trying to resuscitate this team somehow, but it's like trying to put electric paddles on a dead flounder. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And they did, once I heard mention, I wonder how Bob is going to do with all this high-priced veteran talent on the team because of the youngsters that he always had under his reign in Oakland. Now, I'm not saying that he's, it's because of him, but I have to wonder, how does he feel inside that dugout and inside that clubhouse with those guys?
Not great, I
what
bet.
Must he be thinking?
Not great, I bet. And again, I think what it comes down to with Bob Melvin is when you hired him, all you heard was master communicator. That every guy that's ever played for him or worked with him said, "Oh, he'll let you know where you stand." That's all we ever ask is honesty. He's honest. I know he's honest. And if we blow this, I don't know that he will be the fall guy, and I don't think he's the right fall guy.
Mathematically, the best the Padres could do now would be 112-50.
Oh, we take that.
Yeah,
112.
if they won their last 68 games in a row,
yeah,
112, we'd feel good about the end of the season.
We'd probably blow it in the first round. What happened? We use all of our chips. Reese Kinnear starting game 1.
When you put it that way, it's stunning how much of the season is still left.
It is.
It's not like we're down to the last couple of weeks.
But that said, we are down to the last couple of weeks, and
before
I'll tell you
trade deadline.
There's decisions that have to be made.
Yeah,
and that's the problem is that you've dug this massive hole for yourself, and you keep digging, and it keeps getting bigger.
I was looking at that totally like the complete opposite. We're 2 weeks before the dedeadline, and you're talking about if we win every game the rest of the way,
right?
We're slightly better than most Dodger regular seasons.
Now, if the commissioner said, "Hey, by the way, No trade deadline this year. You play with what you got. Fine, I'll take my chances, and the playing field is then even. It's not. You're going to have to make major decisions on major
Other
parts
teams
of
are
your
going to get
roster.
better that are in the playoff chase,
100%.
and you can't really justify it right now. Well, it's a problem. We'll talk about it more phone calls. Still haven't discussed the other games of the weekend. All of it coming up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Monday. We are, yes, dressed in all black. We did not plan this. Ben's got a black T-shirt on. I got a black T-shirt on. Paulie's got a black T-shirt on. We just looked right when we started the show and said, "Oh, it did." I mean, that's
Didn't even notice.
That might be the universe speaking to us. Maybe our general vibes at home when we were getting ready this morning. I specifically grabbed one. I said, "This will look good with these pants," and I put it on. We were in black and in mourning, but this was not a planned radio bit. We did last week when we did summer break. Hey, wear a Hawaiian shirt, have some fun. And this was not the, hey, dress like you're going to a Padres funeral.
You know how I dress myself in the morning?
In the dark.
In the pitch dark, I reach into a drawer and pull out a shirt.
Any shirt.
If I pull it out and I
T-shirt
think,
roulette.
well, at first I put on some shorts or pants, and then I pull out the shirt. And if it looks like it's going to just be horribly bad together, I'll put it back and reach out another one. But if it looks like it'll moderately well go with whatever I'm pulling, that's the shirt I'm wearing that morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the dark.
Mine are all hung and organized neatly.
It's nice. Not in a drawer? You have no drawers?
I have some
You
drawers.
hang everything?
All of my shirts are hung.
Even T-shirts?
With care, yes.
Wow.
I have a lot of
golf
T-shirts.
shirts are all in my drawers. Now, my button-downs, like my work shirts and my jackets,
I have a good amount of closet space. So,
I don't have that much.
No, I have a good
I go
amount.
jackets, sweatshirts, onto like dress shirts, golf polos, and then all the T-shirts.
Sweatshirts are hung too.
Mine too. T-shirts on
Wow.
the T-shirts on the bottom row, and then I've got in my drawers. I've got my underwear is rolled. My wife taught me how to roll them, and it's the most satisfying thing to open the drawer, and they're all rolled neatly, and it's beautiful. It makes me so happy.
Stuff them into a drawer.
You don't fold your.
Well, I
underwear.
kind of fold them, but then they just get unfolded the second I stuff them into the drawer.
It's very slovenly behavior by you, which surprises.
Yeah, but no one sees it other than me.
Yeah, you don't want to be organized.
I mean, I know where everything is.
I guess that is a form of organization. It
sounds like me when I was 16.
Yeah, when I
Their
was
mom wanted me to clean my room, and I'm like, I know. What do you want?
Away and
I know where it's at.
They're
When
put
I
away
had-
and they're clean. Rolling them into perfect little.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah, but no one sees that.
I see it.
You see that, and that makes you feel good.
It makes me feel great.
It doesn't make you feel like you wasted a massive amount of time on something that no one else is ever going to see or care about.
Let's be honest. I'm not the one doing it. So I really appreciate the extra effort.
So now
from
I am doing the
Mrs.
laundry. So I don't.
You do all of your own.
I
own
do
laundry
all
the
the laundry
time?
now. Yes.
You do it for everyone?
I do mostly. Yeah.
Whew, a lot of chores. Lots of chores. I do the garbage. That's my forte.
Take out the trash from the kitchen to the big cans, and then bring the big cans out to the street once a
And
week and bring them back in.
You're talking
bathroom little cans and everything.
And you're talking diaper,
diaper
bag, the
genie.
whole bit. The
diaper
scene.
trash is nasty.
It's a
That's
scene.
for sure.
I do most of the shopping, and I do the majority of the cooking when we cook. So I do a lot.
Dishwashing. I do a lot of the dishwashing.
We have a dishwasher.
I do almost none of the cooking. Cooking is Shell's domain.
We have a dishwasher. It's 2024. So no, I don't wash.
Well, you have to pre-wash the dishes.
Yeah. I will rinse them and put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, more than rinse though. I mean, you have to get the sticky bits off,
Well,
and then
I
you
do
put
that.
it into the dishwasher to more sanitize them and finish them.
I will say,
but then you don't put all the pots and everything in the dishwasher. You have to still scrub those out
yeah.
for sure.
She does
still a
that.
job.
She does that. My wife does make it feel like sometimes when it comes to laundry, because I've offered to do my own laundry. I said, let's let me do it, because she does it every day, and I would rather let it pile up 4 or 5 days.
I pile it up for a week and a half,
yeah.
and then
But she
go
does
for it.
when she says I've got all this laundry to do. She does make it seem sometimes like she's in the backyard with a washing board and a tub and just me scrubbing your t-shirts again and your underwear. And I'm like,
I wish Woods' abs felt like this washboard.
100%. They do not. It would be a rounded washboard, very smooth and hairless.
Probably not very efficient.
Not very efficient. But she does, and I go, just let me do my own, and let me take some of that burden off you. No, I don't like when you do the laundry. She's a lot of rules, man. There's a lot of rules. We got into a little bit of an argument the other day. I went to the grocery store, and I go to get the groceries, and I buy a bunch of stuff for dinner and everything else. I buy a bunch of stuff that I think we need. She goes, well, did you see my list? And I go, no. She goes, there's a list on the counter. And I go, oh, well, you didn't tell me that there was a list. She goes, there's a list every day. And I said, so I'm just supposed to know that if you text me the list, like while I'm on the air and say, hey, if you're going to the store, grab this, done. I'll get you everything on your list and then some. But she goes, there's always a list. Every day there's a list in there and you missed it. And I said, well, I didn't know there was one. How am I to know there's a list if you don't tell me there's a list? She goes, this is how you know. Every day there's a list. I said, okay.
I'm a big fan of the list as well, but it needs to be specific.
Oh, 100%.
Like if apples is on the list,
green,
I
red,
have so many questions.
no doubt.
Because there's so many varieties. How many? What
You know
color? What you have to be specific.
You want a big
on the
bunch? You want a little
list.
bunch? You know what I got yesterday on the list? You know what was on my lunch yesterday or my list yesterday? Dinner is what it said. Dinner.
Get dinner.
I go, no. This is not going to work. Dinner. What do you want? She goes, anything but chicken. I go, okay. So now I know. Now I can wheedle it down a little bit. Dinner. She writes it. So why don't I just write breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee,
snacks?
Get snacks. That's it. She will. Stuff for kids' lunch. What? What do you want me to get? It's like building a baseball team. I need specifics.
Now, if there were no recriminations when you came back,
correct.
Here's what I got for the sack. No,
Oh,
that's
looks
all
good.
Wrong. No, that's all wrong. Why did you get that? Well, you didn't tell me what
Ben,
to get.
That's the problem. When you come home, guess what it is? It's all recriminations. The whole thing when you walk in the door is you get this. She also comes to the bags like she's a detective, and the face, and she opens the bag slowly and looks and she goes, oh, you got that brand? And I'm like, how in the F am I supposed to know what oatmeal you want unless you tell me? So I need specifics. I won't mess it up. I'll get you everything you need. I'll gladly pay for it. Hell, I'll even cook most of it. You just got to tell me what you want, baby. And you need to be specific. The mind reader bit, I'm not good at it. And I was 4 days ago years old when I found out that there's a list every single day in the kitchen. I never knew. I never knew. How would I know? How would I know? So that was really.
So does that mean she's been writing this list for however long and you've not even realized there was a list?
Every now and then she'll text me like, hey, will you grab this stuff? I'll go, no problem. But I'm supposed to know that every day there's one.
We keep Megan got this like magnetic
board
list on the right on the fridge that we put all of our, staple groceries on. And, if you use something all the way up or whatever, cross it off or erase it, put it in the, hey, need to grab section. Like next time you're at the store.
Wouldn't it be, I don't want to mess with your system because it sounds like you have a good system.
It works.
Wouldn't it be smarter to put on the board what you need? Because then you'd know, like you write chicken, pasta, shrimp.
It's essentially what we're doing.
But it's the opposite.
But we're showing what we have.
But then are you supposed to remember what was erased from the top of the staple list?
No,
you see what I'm saying?
There's another list.
There's another list.
Says
Okay.
Grab.
Got it. Need it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Exactly. Got
Whatever
it. Need
system works for you guys. I'm having a hard time.
I enjoy.
finding it.
I'll be proactive. Sometimes I'll say I'm going to the store. I'm going to Vaughn's. Any requests, or I'm going to Costco. Any requests while I'm there, and then you have essentially the next 45 minutes to respond.
Yeah.
And make your requests at that point because I'm going to the store.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
I do that too. Hey, on my way to the store, do we need anything? She'll text back, guess what? Dinner. Okay. And then if because I'll eat spaghetti every night. I have no problem eating turkey, spaghetti every single night. And she'll grab anything. And then I'll be like, all right, how about spaghetti? No. How about chicken? No, I don't want chicken.
I could eat spaghetti.
Me too,
probably
every night.
Yeah.
When I was a bachelor, I ate spaghetti like 5 days a week. Literally. I'd make it one day and I'd eat it the next 2. Then I'd make it 2 days later and eat it the next 3. Like I had no problem.
I could eat tacos almost every night.
Yeah, I can't do it though.
Yeah.
But I digress.
We digress.
Well, I needed a little bit of digression because
absolutely.
We're at the point now with this San Diego Padres team that it's going to be interesting how this all plays out. And our pal Scott Lewis, man, sweet little angel from Voice of San Diego.
Saw this.
Scott said, Ben says, I think you're going to like what Woods has to say this morning on Ben and Woods. He just had me nodding in total agreement. Basically, I was saying, look, if this thing goes as south as we all expect it to, I don't want to see quit from this team. I can't do it again. The fans deserve better. 41,000. They've bought out all the season tickets. People are still hungry for a winner in San Diego, and I don't think that's going to change at all. Man, if you're 10 games out, 12 games out, 15 games out, doesn't matter. You have a job to do. You play 162 games. We watched you guys fold in September of 2021. It was excruciating, and you admitted that you quit. You can't quit on us again. You can't quit on us again. This city deserves better. That was my general point.
It's a lot of differences and similarities to the 2021 season. They were the best team in baseball for
up
the
to
first
the All-Star
3
break.
months,
Yep.
3.5 months. It was like the week before the All-Star break or like the week after the All-Star break is when a couple injuries happened. He didn't land the big move at the trade deadline.
Felt like some air got let out of the tire there.
But you still had such a comfortable lead
100%.
that like the month of August, which I don't remember being very good, it didn't kill you.
No,
but you just were like slowly bleeding out. This team has never been the best team in baseball. They've never won more than 3 in a row.
Yep.
And we just can kind of see the
writing on the wall,
the light at the end of the tunnel, except what's the opposite?
The dark at the end of the tunnel.
The oncoming train.
The oncoming train.
Of the tunnel.
And again, hey man, that sucks. It sucks that we got here, but you cannot quit on this team. So our pal Scott Lewis says, I think I was listening the moment you all concluded the season was lost. You sat in silence long enough. I thought the signal went out. Reviewed the tape. And Ben said, well, we've been working on more dramatic pauses. It's supposedly
you
good
sent
radio.
me that email about dramatic pauses.
Scott says it made me feel very sad. I don't want to make you feel sad, at all, but the stupid thing I'm about to say is absolutely true, and it's baseball. They could absolutely go win 6 in a row. They could. They haven't shown me that they can. They haven't shown me they can win 4 in a row. Maybe we start there as a watermark for this team.
Go ahead and hope for it.
You can hope for it.
Don't expect.
You'd
be foolish to expect it.
The pieces that we need to hold. When I hear, this is an interesting aside, and we haven't really talked about the Blake Snell start yet. And I saw a lot of people very angry at Bob for pulling Blake Snell at 83 pitches or 82 pitches, whatever he was at after going 5. Came out after the game. It felt at least kind of like a mutual decision. And then Blake on the broadcast, I think yesterday, said, I changed my socks 3 times. I changed my uniform 3 times in those 5 innings. He was roasting. And Bob had even said he's cooked.
Yeah, that was Bob's terminology. He was cooked after those 5 innings, however many pitches it was.
And Blake kept alluding to, in his interview with Don and Mudd, it's weird after the break. It's weird after the break. It feels different after the break.
He said even going into the game, he was sore. He didn't feel like he had more than 75 pitches or so in him. So he kind of always the plan.
He goes 82. They pull in. Bob Melvin gets roasted for that. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and I actually wrote a couple people back that were upset about it this weekend. I said, all right, let's play it through. He's at 82 pitches. Let's say he gets through the 6th at 97 pitches. He's done. Standard. No, you're not going to expect more from Blake Snell in the first start, the second half. You're just not. Right? We all agree with that. Everyone listening, you guys agree? I'm sure you do.
I agree.
So let's say he gets through the 6th. We still have to cover the 7th, the 8th, the 9th inning. Who in our bullpen has shown you they get no problem? I got 3 innings. There's nobody. Let's say Hader gets the 9th. Fine. You still have to cover the 7th and the 8th. The cupboard is bare when you go down there, man. I mean, sure, it's a wing and a prayer, but I just don't see what leaving Blake Snell in 1 more inning is going to do. It's just not going to do anything. There's no one to cover these innings. Oh, by the way, knowing still you have another game. You got another game that day that you can't cover.
Part of me does say, though, that the reason you don't push yourself for that extra inning through the soreness, through the heat, the reason is because you need to have something left in the tank for a late run, the playoffs in October. If you continue to just save yourself for later, there's nothing to save yourself for anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to get to the end of the year and go, I still have a buttload of gas left in the tank. I feel great.
Here we are in late
Anybody
September.
need a summer ball arm?
I've got plenty left in the tank for October. Well, you're not going there because you didn't push yourself enough in July.
I just wonder.
Part of me does say that, yeah, it's probably not a great idea for Blake Snell to push through that in the next inning, and you might be risking an injury. You might be risking something, but he might not have anything left at the end of the year. But if you don't, you're never going to get there. So what's the point of it all?
Can I be on? Can I just say something honestly? Blake Snell may be pitching for another team in 2 weeks. Maybe Blake Snell was like, throw me 75 pitches. That's all I got in me.
Did Blake have to work just a little too hard in that final inning?
Yeah, he was cooked. He was cooked after that, after the 5th.
24 pitch inning, right? 24 pitch inning. So, just to call a spade, guys, like the thing with Hader, the thing with Snell, both these guys are on expiring contracts. They don't have their financial future locked up, correct? Do you blame them right now for saying, use me for one if you're Hader, and for Snell going, I got 75. Do we really blame them?
It's a good point. Snell very well could be pitching in October, deep into October.
100% with another team.
Just not for the Padres.
I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it. And you can change it. You can change that. You go out and win every game this week. You feel like maybe you're right back in it. You feel like maybe if you can add a bullpen arm or two, whatever, But do we really expect Blake Snell, if this team continues in this manner, do we expect him to be a part of the team in 3 weeks from today? I don't think so.
Nope.
And Josh Hader, I don't think so either.
Let's go to break. AJ Preller went on MLB Network Radio this weekend and talked about the upcoming trade deadline. Didn't sound like there's going to be much of a sale.
All right, we will hear that audio from AJ Preller when we come
terrifying.
back after a check of traffic here. Men of Woods, 97.3 The Fan. a fake tweet. Wasn't fooled by it, not even for a second. But I saw a fake tweet.
Jeff Passam.
Yeah, it was from the San Diego Padres.
San Diego.
Yeah, we're announcing that we have just acquired Shohei Ohtani from the Los Angeles Angels in exchange for Jackson Merrill, Ethan Salas, Dylan Lesko, and Robbie Snelling. Top 4 prospects in your organization to rent Shohei Ohtani for 2.5 months. And I go, even the craziest day of AJ Preller I don't think he would consider doing that for a 2.5 month rental of Shohei Ohtani. It does appear, though, that Ohtani is on the market. Hit his 34th home run last night after the Angels blew it in the top of the 9th inning against the Astros. He hit one to pull him back within 1, but they ended up losing on a diving catch by Kyle Tucker last out of the game. He also homered in the 9th inning. It was the wildest series of the weekend. The Angels came back to win, I think, 13-12 on Saturday, and then the Astros came back on Sunday. And with as badly as the Angels have been playing, the reports out this weekend were that they will now listen on Shohei Ohtani trade proposals, but it's going to take at least like 2 top 100 prospects to start
Just
the conversation.
Like last year with Soto, all we heard from Nationals ownership was we're not trading Juan Soto.
Right.
We're not trading Juan. I know we didn't agree to terms. We're not trading Juan Soto. We might trade Juan Soto.
So now, if
all Artie Moreno said, we're not trading Shohei.
So now, if you're Shohei, now you know for a fact they are listening on you. They have, I guess, given their list of demands of what they need. This is something that rankled Juan Soto when he was with the Washington Nationals, and when Mike Rizzo came out and said, "Well, we offered him $440," and he turned it down. Look, that still may go down as one of the biggest bag fumblings of all time, Juan Soto, and I that weighs on him. The pressure of that, turning down basically $500 million to play baseball every day. And stay where you had won a World Series. And yeah, it was going to suck. They were going to be doing a rebuild around you, but you turned down almost $500 million. And
do you think there's any part of the Nationals who made that offer knowing
that he would turn it
would
down?
get turned down
Probably.
just so they could say they made the offer?
Sure.
Like
Happens all the time.
The Padres offered Kevin Brown in the 1999 offseason like $35 million, but they knew he was never going to take that. And he went to the Dodgers for $100 million, and then fans would, throw money at him after. He was never going to take that deal. They knew that. They knew that.
The lure of free agency, if you're Scott Boras and Juan Soto by extension, is just too much. It's too much. Hey, Juan, you continue to do what you're doing on the pace that you're doing it, my friend, 440 is going to look like a drop of the bucket. Now, again, I know his OPS is high, but I looked this morning. Juan Soto's OPS has arrived at its high number because he walks a lot. He does. He walks a ton. He's got 20 more walks than anybody in the National League. He walks a ton. He's not been kind of what we all thought. Now, I would try to strike while the iron is cold, and he's in a bit of a slump, if you were, for him. I would like to see Juan Soto stay here. He had a rough series, though. It was a rough series. I know he hit the home run late. It was a rough series. He had a rough defensive series. Seems to be in a little bit of agony. He also is a guy that has played every single game for the San Diego Padres this year. I don't think if he left today, if you traded him today, you're markedly worse.
Well, I think
markedly worse.
Suggestion was made, hey, if you're Peter Seidler and AJ Preller, make him an offer. It's not mind-blowing, but something that you feel is fair, that you're comfortable with, that he has to at least think about. And if they turn it down, you can trade him.
What's your deadline?
Trade deadline? Off-season.
Oh, okay, so ride the rest of the season with him.
You could ride the rest of the season. At some point, you make him an offer. It's not like a can't say no deal. It's a one that makes him think, but the Padres are also feel comfortable. And if he says no again, and they are determined to go to free agency, then you trade him at that point, because where it's just going to be a bidding war at the end of the season, or he's going to have a disappointing year, and then it's like, do you really want him at that point?
This is what will definitely happen. He'll when the Pods are out of it, he'll go on an absolute tear.
Probably.
Absolute tear this year. Just an incredibly gnarly tear.
Let's listen to some of this audio. As I said, Shohei Ohtani, it looks like he's on the market, but it doesn't sound like the Padres will be players. Even if they are winning games, it doesn't look like they're in the market for a superstar. This is AJ Preller on with MLB Radio, Jim Bowden, and the crew on Sirius.
I think the starting pitching's been really good. Darvish on Friday night. Snell's been as good as anybody in the league here in the last couple of months. Musgrove has been right behind him. So, Walker's first half, Seth Lugo's been good. So it's like every night we're getting a quality start. That's usually the recipe for success. And with Hader and Suarez for rehab assignment yesterday in AAA, and hopefully there's a good chance to come back and help us here this week. Steven Wilson coming back, who had a great first half. And again, like when you talk about, Bogarts and Soto and Manny starting to heat up, I think for, the big pieces are there. I think for us, like clearly, the idea in the next couple of weeks is to look and some of the areas that we can continue to strengthen and make some good deals that can take a team and continue to put us in a spot where we play better in the second half. That's the main goal. But you've always got to be ready to, to adjust and adapt depending on what's out there. So, we'll see and see how things play out. But I think, like you mentioned, we feel like a lot of those big pieces are in play and are in place, and ultimately it's about playing better.
The big pieces are there.
Yeah, AJ to English translation. He's saying we already have our big pieces. We may need a couple of side pieces to fill out the team, but even if we're buyers at the deadline, don't look for us to be adding an Ohtani or a Goldschmidt, another premier player. We have our superstars in place now. Circumstances changed over the weekend with 3 straight losses to the Phillies, pushing them more toward the sellers category, to be sure. But that was AJ's thinking even before the weekend kind of went south and downhill in Philadelphia.
So when is the drop dead date?
Or is it a number?
Is it a number? But when is the drop dead date? Your Blake.
It's a sliding scale. I mean, the closer you get to August 1st, the further away you're getting. It kind of slides back and forth. If you win a few games, it keeps pushing the date back a little bit. If you lose more, the date gets earlier and earlier.
Today, would you sell?
Today. Oh yeah. Today I'm seller.
Today you're seller.
In barring something happening this week, today I'm sellers. They need to now give you a reason not to sell.
Okay.
They got 6 games left this week on the road.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't give a number.
No.
Wait, don't do a number. Do not do a number. Don't do it.
It ain't 3 and 3. I'll tell you that. I just say it ain't 3 and 3.
5-1.
Did I, Paulie?
6-0.
Oh my God.
4 and 2. I don't know. It ain't 3 and 3. That's all I know.
They're definitely coming back 3 and 3.
All right, we'll come back. Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a Grand Old Monday.
Let's talk about some other teams.
What a weekend it was. I mean, you look at some of the series this weekend. Wow.
Nuts.
Good stuff in baseball. We'll discuss it with Jake Mintz next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Film. It was a pretty wild start to the second half of the baseball season. Some of the series, fantastic baseball. Some teams are making statements. Others are coming back to the pack. We're going to discuss it all. We've got Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue standing by on a grand old Monday. Have our weekly conversation right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Still a few hot spots here, guys. Looks like a car and pickup truck got into it on the northbound side of the 5, right before 28th Street. They're in the center divide. Several people walking around, so please take it extra carefully. Even move over a lane if it's safe to do so. That's northbound 5 before 28th Street. Also, collision partially blocking the transition ramp eastbound 8 at the northbound 15 connector. Still clearing an accident westbound 8 before Fletcher Parkway. It's in the center divide. Then up ahead on the Mission Bay Drive off-ramp west 8, got a stalled vehicle. Looks like that is blocking the right lane of that ramp. And Kelly Danik, Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, and we are joined by our friend Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. National Baseball Stars Now podcast hosts, and you hear him each Monday here on Ben & Woods. Jake, good morning to you. Hope you had a good weekend. And let's go with the microphone.
I did. I had a great weekend.
Good.
I got engaged, guys.
Oh, congratulations,
buddy.
Wow.
It's today's the anniversary of the day I got engaged.
Is Jordan worried about losing you?
Oh yeah.
Is that a problem?
No, I don't think Jordan's worried at all. Jordan is engaged himself. He'll be married in a month, but I was just jealous, so I had to join the crew.
Did you guys do this for content, or just decide to both get engaged and maybe do a dual wedding?
Nope, just for love.
Just in love.
Just for love purposes.
Now you're going to be in each other's weddings, like the best man situation.
This connection's bad.
Yeah,
we just call him.
Yeah, maybe we ought to go.
Jake, I'm going to give you a call.
Phone conversation. We'll get you back on the phone
go
in
to
just
the
a second.
phones.
Yeah, he's getting up, finding the phone. We'll get Jake back on in a second. Got to plan bachelor parties for each other. Now you can't go too crazy because revenge will be swift on the bachelor party if you do something out of bounds.
Why?
Well, like if you embarrass someone too much at their bachelor party and they're about to plan yours.
Oh, yeah. That's what you're saying.
That'll keep you a little bit from going off the
Yes, like going, you can't do to me because I still owe you one.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Got to be a little bit careful with that sort of thing.
Trying to get Jake Mintz back on the line from Cespedes Family Barbecue. And I don't know what the hell happened to that.
It's weird. I was just thinking about, I love having guys on Zoom, especially when the video is good and the audio quality is great. Every once in a while, it just doesn't work. So let's get him back on the phone now. Jake, we were just talking about
I'm sorry.
That's
guys.
right.
I'm so embarrassed.
You're fine.
You're there now. We were talking about planning bachelor parties for each other.
Ooh, interesting. I would like to spend 3 weeks in Fort Wayne, Indiana, watching the Tin Caps.
Why?
So then I can give you guys some hope for the future every Monday. Come on.
The hope is, you want to talk about clinging to something right now. We are absolutely clinging. We're playing the left game. Now, what happens if take on the Red Hot Toronto Blue Jays, and what if they sweep them? And then of course you got the Tigers, and what if you sweep them? And well, hell, then there's 6 games in a row, Jake. But we're talking like a fingernail's breadth here of a chance.
At least it's nice outside. I imagine that you folks have been worrying and consternating about the San Diego father figures already this morning.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to talk about other
Let's do that.
baseball teams, I'm more than happy to provide that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it's nice outside. I think it's going to be 125 degrees in our deserts this week.
I wanted to ask you, we're talking to Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue. So were you the Orioles fan, or is that, I always get confused on who your main allegiance is with.
Oh, it's me, my friend.
Dude.
That big fat W8 on my back feels quite good.
That is, it's been really spectacular what they've been able to do this season. And of course, you got to be excited knowing, the trade deadline's coming up, and there are guys that could help that team. They are just a game back right now from the Tampa Bay Rays, which I think is just outstanding. I mean,
Swept the Marlins
over
the weekend.
Yeah. It's wild.
like the Rays, remember how good they were? They couldn't lose.
Yep.
They were like the 1972 Dolphins. They were 27-6, I believe, on May 5th. Since then, they are 33-30. Not bad, but squarely average. And the Orioles have just continued to chug along and racking up wins along the way. They've called up a lot of their top prospects. Jordan Westbrook, Colton Cowser have made their big league debuts over the last couple of weeks. Gunnar Henderson has taken a huge step forward for them. He's been leading off every day now. And I'm most interested to see whether Orioles general manager Mike Elias will put his foot down and put the pedal to the metal and make an aggressive trade for a starting pitcher. Because the biggest issue with the O's is that they don't quite have the high-end starting pitching you would expect from a World Series contender, right? Now, it's easy to look around and say, Shohei Ohtani, yada-dee, yada-da, but for only 2 months of Ohtani, is it worth making that trade? Maybe. I don't think the Orioles will do it, but they have so many top prospect hitters that I think it would behoove them to go get Corbin Burns or Shane Bieber or one of the other, Lucas Giolito, one of the other pitchers on the market.
But Jake, it's not just a general manager situation. The Orioles have, I believe, a bottom 3 or 4 payroll in baseball. Do you trust the ownership if that move is going to cost big money, add on salaries? Do you trust them to put the money in to the team to help these young guys who are playing cheaply and playing so well?
So Ohtani is a different story, at least with what his contract is right now. Because if you're paying a prorated amount of Ohtani's salary, that's probably like 10 or 8 for the rest of the year. And that's going to pay for itself, right?
Easily.
Whether it's T-shirts or tickets and just the whole Ohtani hubbub, that pays for itself. Now, will it pay for himself when he's getting, $550 million a year from now? I don't know. That's a different story. But are the Orioles going to have enough buy-in from ownership? That is the $70 million question, right? I remain skeptical, and until you see it, it's hard to really believe that they'll do it. But things are certainly good in Baltimore right now. I'll tell you that.
They're such a fun team to watch, and again, as Padres baseball continues to roll on, I do find myself checking in on some of the other games, probably more than I normally would. There's been some great stories this season. The Reds remain a great story. However, they've hit the skids a little bit, lost 4 straight, but again, watching Ellie De La Cruz throw a ball 99 miles an hour across the diamond this weekend it's incredible what he continues to do on a baseball field. But, you expect them to probably come crashing down to earth here soon. The Pirates have already come crashing down. It is a weird one, though, in that we already kind of have the feeling that they always say the cream rises to the top. Well, the 2 most spendy teams in baseball, we're 3, right? It's the Mets, Dodgers, Yankees,
Padres.
Well, those 3 teams are in. There's a slim chance that any of them make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees are above 500, but they just lost 2 or 3 to the Rockies and are losing ground to the Blue Jays and the Orioles fast.
No doubt.
No doubt. Out of a playoff spot right now.
So the worst thing that can happen to these players out there hitting free agency and things like that is, it's bad. It's bad for baseball if the top 3 payroll teams don't make it in.
So this is a complicated conversation, one that could take a whole show. And I think that the Padres, Yankees, and Mets are sort of in different situations. I would actually group the Yankees and Mets together more than the Padres. My honest opinion about the Padres is that they are just a prime example of bad baseball luck, of not stringing hits together in the right order. If you take a look at all of the Padres players individually in their stat lines, the important ones have been as good or better than you could have expected. Michael Walkup, Blake Snell, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., these guys have been great. I know that, there's no one who can hit and catch a baseball at the same time, and Gary Sanchez is here, and it's weird. But the players have been fine. Their Pythagorean record, their expected record based upon runs scored and allowed is well above 500.
Yeah.
So they've been unlucky. And I don't think the Padres' lack of success is a repudiation of their strategy.
Good word.
I think it's a repudiation of some of the way that, some of their processes maybe, but I don't think it's damning their spending. The Mets and the Yankees is different, because why are the Mets and the Yankees not as good as we thought? Because they have older players doing poorly and being hurt. So what does money buy you in baseball? There are 2 main ways to use money to go get players, right? You can either extend guys who are good, trade for them, and then extend them and keep them around forever. And that's kind of what the Padres have done. Or you can do what the Mets and the Yankees have done, which is go buy yourself guys on the free agent market. Go acquire older players. And that's where the money is used, right? If you're going to go get players with money, they're going to be older. And if they're older, they're more likely to get hurt. And if they're more likely to get hurt, the players following them, beneath them, replacing them from the minor league level are not going to be as good. And that is that's what's happened with the Yankees with Josh Donaldson and DJ LeMahieu and Giancarlo Stanton. And that's what's happened with the Mets with Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo's been good, but like Starling Marte has been and Verlander and Scherzer have struggled a little bit. And that, I think, is important to understand, that the Yankees and Mets are kind of in one bucket, and I think the Padres are in another.
Talking to our pal Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. You know, somebody made a point over the weekend. I can't remember where I saw it, but I thought it was pretty brilliant. Texas Rangers went out last season, spent a ton of dough. Gave Marcus Semien a bunch of money, Corey Seager a bunch of money. Went nowhere fast. And it very much felt like what the San Diego Padres are this season. Now, we all see how they're doing this year, and you know, that's losing Jacob deGrom a few weeks into the season, him not being able to pitch probably maybe until later on, September, October, which, hey, good time to get Jacob deGrom back, I would imagine, if you're going into October. But how have they been able to right that ship? How have they been able to throw money at guys? And is it timing? Is it, hey, they needed a year together of being in the crapper, and we can expect bigger things from the Padres next year? How does that work?
Well, it's the thing with the Rangers, dude. It's not just the money. So Seager and Semien obviously are making
tons, $500
million together, and that does certainly help. And they've both been good. Seager's been incredible. But take a look at the rest of that team. Nathaniel Lowe, acquired from the Rays in a trade for basically nothing. Adolis Garcia, who's been incredible,
so good,
acquired for basically nothing. Jonah Heim was a waiver wire dude who was bouncing around like 8 different teams. He started the All-Star game behind the plate.
Yep.
Josh Young is a rookie top prospect who's hit. Those 4 dudes plus Seager and Semien have made up the bulk of that offense. And so, like, that's the team, right? You can't just have the 2 high-priced guys be good, or else you end up like the Angels.
Yeah, then you're
right?
the Angels.
And the Rangers have raked up and down that lineup. I think Bruce Bochy has helped. Because think about it this way, dude, and maybe this is related to Bob Melvin. If you're Bruce Bochy, you're a future Hall of Fame manager with a big house, and you're retired. What are you coming out of retirement for? Like, you have to be convinced that it's worth your time, that it's worth the schlep of managing it.
It's funny though, if you would imagine then, if you're Bruce Bochy, and I don't know the conversations between AJ Preller and Bochy, or even if there were any, or if Bochy showed any interest in managing here again. But you got to imagine that call of, hey, Tatis will be back, and we got Bogarts, and we got Manny, and we've got Blake Snell and Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish and Josh Hader, and that seems to me to be a fairly interesting phone call to take and accept as well, right? I mean, more so, I imagine, than, hey, we got a rookie coming up, he's going to play third. We got this guy off the waiver wire. We traded for Nate Lowe.
Well, it got him Nelson Cruz. That argument last offseason, He just didn't perform the way they needed him to perform.
For sure.
Right. And I think, again, that goes back to the process side of things. I think there are holes to poke, I guess, in the Padres process side, and how that might not necessarily convince the best manager to show up. Now, I'm not trying to knock Bob Melvin. Like, Melvin, I still believe that Melvin knows what he's doing.
We do too.
We don't know.
I'll go farther. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what
he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and if they had gotten Bochy, they would have had to fire Melvin after making the NLCS, right? That doesn't really make that much sense. And so I just look at Bochy, and I think about how the Rangers must have had a lunch meeting and pitched him on the team, and how impressive that must have been, in addition to the money. The money always talks, for him to come out of retirement. He wasn't going to come out of retirement to manage a schlubby team. You know what I mean?
Jake, I love Boch. I mean, he's a great manager. He's not a magician, though.
Right.
This is it's the players who are still doing it for the Rangers, just like it's the players who are letting down Bob Melvin here in San Diego. Before you go, I want to say my co-host this morning hit one out of the park, because he said that Padres fans, and we're seeing it, they're starting to lose a little bit of their steam for this team, as you'd expect. But Woodsy said the last thing that he is going to be the rest of this season is apathetic. He is going to be watching even closer to see which players still care, even if the season goes south, the ones that are still willing to put it on the line for the fans who have sold out almost every game at Petco Park. You're a fan of a team that unfortunately has had many seasons that were lost at the end of the year. What do you look for those last couple of months of the year after your team has basically been eliminated?
This is different though, because you guys are having like the saddest season ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, are we? Are we, Jake?
I'm not trying to hold your hand here, my dude. Like, the thing with your situation is that people, after years of just mediocrity, it was, it's time to be the Padres.
That's right.
Here we go. And then you were let down. For me, as an Orioles fan, for a while, it was, this team is going to suck, and they suck. Right? And
yeah, you knew it.
You're looking, and you knew it. And so your heart wasn't crushed. What I would look for at the end of a bad, pointless Orioles season would be, which of these players is going to be on the next good Orioles team? That does not apply to you, right? That does not apply to you. Looking at the 2020 Orioles and being like, maybe Cedric Mullins? You know Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Machado and Bogarts are going to be there, right?
Yep.
So I guess it's looking at who down the depth chart is worth caring about.
But Jake, those
right?
are the guys. Those are the guys I'm worried the most about. To be honest with you, those are the guys I want to watch the most. They're the highest paid guys. They're the guys that are locked down long term. And I'll tell you, man, I can't see these guys dogging it in September. And if they're out of it, I just can't. It's
neither time, but they've been good, dude.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
the thing.
They are.
It's like the high priced guys have been good. And so if I'm a Padres fan, I just stay the course. I just stay positive. They cannot be this unlucky for this long and for another season.
Man, I know.
So even though you have had your heart ripped out and you have had a horrible time watching one of the most bizarre baseball teams in recent memory, I think you have no other option than to continue watching them.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like you have a football team, you know?
Yes, we know.
Thank
Gosh,
you, Jake. Well, just to press us. You know what? That's the end of today's interview with Jake Mintz.
Well, it actually is. We're out of time anyway. We are out of time.
No, Jake, I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good week.
Love you guys.
Love you,
Jake is always appearing on our premier
and
congratulations, appearing on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. And always thank you to our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue, making the Cespedes family barbecue thing happen each Monday. You can check them out in North Park, out at Flint Springs, and at the ballpark.
Let's get a launch there soon.
Yeah,
I'm dying.
We got to do it soon for sure. Love that stuff. It is so good. All right, I want to react a little bit to something that Jake said in particular about how the Padres retool, if this really is what they're going to do. And Paulie's got some headlines on the Reindl Report, some LeBron news over the weekend, and more. All coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed on 97.3 The Fan. While you're listening, you can see what you missed, click to listen on demand, and then just tap that little app there and go
Gonna
back.
make that sound?
Like if you missed our interview just moments ago with Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue, you heard him talk about the Padres getting unlucky. That, hey, their Pythagorean record, they should be almost, 10 games above 500. Their run differential is great. They just an unlucky team. And the implication there, Woods, is that they don't really need to do anything other than just be patient,
Write it out.
let it all fix itself. I don't know that you can sell that in the offseason. Like, we don't need to do much. Everything's fine.
I don't know that he's saying in the offseason.
I
I don't know
mean,
that he means in the offseason. I think he means now.
But in terms of, I had got into this discussion on Twitter this weekend as well. It was suggested the Padres, AJ Preller, need to get a more analytical approach at, filling some of these holes. And Padres have holes, clearly. They have work to do this offseason. However, the analytics will tell you that while the Padres aren't great, the analytics will tell you pretty good team. They've outscored their opponents consistently over the course of the season. They should have a pretty good record. You put all their numbers into the formula, and what analytics spit out is you've put together a good baseball team, AJ Preller. So why would you ask analytics to solve the problem? Because right now, analytics are telling you don't really have that big of a problem. It's the win-loss record that tells you have a big problem. But I think, and this is a discussion that is going to carry us for the next maybe 6 months, how do you fix the problem when you don't know exactly what's wrong?
I mean, look.
I mean, you definitely need better production out of certain spots. No doubt about that.
But the thing is like analytics can't tell me we have a good bullpen. We just can't. And even when our bullpen ERA was low,
they don't tell you have good bullpen.
Yeah, they did.
They tell you since June 1st you have like the worst.
They did for 2 months, and now they don't.
But even in that scenario,
that's a tough thing to fix as well. I mean, you can't just go out and sign free agents in the bullpen and say, all right, we fixed it, because bullpen arms are notoriously up and down, good season, bad season, very fickle. How do you fix that problem?
It's a huge circular issue in that you need depth in your organization, which you don't have. You're looking at some of the lineups. And again, I hate to put guys on blast that, are just trying to grind their way through a big league season and trying to get their feet wet in the big leagues. Guys like Brandon Dixon and really Matt Carpenter's gotten his feet wet plenty in the big leagues. Guys that you weren't expecting to have to contribute this year, the Rugi Odors of the world, the Gary Sanchez of the world. It's not on them. This is not on them. These guys are grinding their way through it. But Matt Carpenter's making a ton of dough to not hit at the DH position. We loved the
problem is we're debating, should we have pinch hit Matt Batten for Rugi Odor in that situation?
Exactly. And it's like, so the circular problem with the organization is a severe lack of depth with arms, with position players. The next great hope is not knocking at the door. It ain't Jackson Merrill. I don't think he's knocking on the door for next season. I don't. And where are you going to play him anyway?
Depth shouldn't be that hard of a problem to fix, but you have to get it right. And AJ got it wrong this year. He may have gotten the main pieces right.
Man, it
but
looked
the
good.
Depth he got wrong.
We were sold on the Nelly Cruz experiment with Matt Carpenter as your platoon guys. We were sold on it. It didn't work. So you cannot keep running it out there. You got to eat it. You just do. You got to figure that part out. When you go down to the bullpen, and yes, we've been banged up. You know how many injuries that the Tampa Bay Rays have sustained in their pitching rotation and their bullpen this year? Pete Fairbanks, their closer's been up and down all year. I think he's got 10 saved. No problem. We'll find a way. We got 15 guys that can get out. You saw what the Giants did with their bullpen. My God. And this is a symptom of not having any well to go to.
I agree with you. In fact, any trades that may be made when you sell off pieces, I know you're going to look for super prospects in return, and that would be great.
Don't give me the high upside, speedy outfielder.
But I would like to see the Padres acquire
arms,
3 or 4 arms, maybe just AAA arms, but guys with some good stuff.
Yes,
that hey, 3 of those guys may not hit, but if the 4th guy ends up having a good season next year, you've improved your bullpen tremendously.
Major league or major league ready.
Yeah, just guys that, or at least
knocking on the door.
At least guys that you can feel good about giving a shot out there and throwing at the wall. And if you have enough of them, someone may stick.
God, you're never going to feel like let's say that the season in the next 10 days or so just goes down the drain. And you're looking at moving a Hader, and you're looking at moving a Snell, and you're looking at moving whoever else that you have available. I don't know who it would be. But those two guys for sure, they're expiring contracts, so those are the easy ones.
You move Snell in your rotation.
Oh,
he's like a complete overhaul almost next year.
Toast.
Waka's not guaranteed. Lugo's not guaranteed.
Adrian Morejon. Here we go.
Darvish and Musgrove are your only two that you can consider
for sure
solid rotation
Waka
members
could
for
opt
next
out.
season.
Lugo could opt out.
Could be traded.
So that's why this whole let's just punt, refocus for next year. Shoot, man, I don't know. I'm more inclined to say no. You made this bet. You find a way to lie in it. All of you, go get us into the playoffs somehow, because the revamping for next year. Does anyone in here feel like we're going to get what we deserve for Snell and Hader? And does anybody in here feel like that those guys are going to miraculously make some sort of jump to the big leagues to help us go out and win a pennant next year? I don't. And history has shown me that over the last 9-10 years.
And prospect wise, I mean, do you think Snelling or Lesko at age 20 is coming up at some point next year to help the team?
Well,
probably.
And if they do,
maybe like Jake TV situation, but not until at least the middle of the year.
But if they do, they'll be on 80
pitch count
innings,
for sure.
80 innings and 100 innings. And again, this was the year that you threw all of your chips into the middle. It's going to be hard to walk away from that table, Ben. It is. And I again, don't envy him, but you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to figure out how you can salvage some part of this season whilst also planning for the future. And again, next year, it's not like, hey, we'll be fine next year, man. If we lose Snell and whatever, and Lugo opts out, you can find guys like that. You found them this year. You found the Waka and the Lugo, and you can find them again. But man, it's certainly an uphill climb. Just goes to show you how hard this is, how hard it is to go out and actually play a great season and then roll through the playoffs. It's just very, very hard to do. And you thought this was the year. It all made sense on paper, and they don't play games on paper, it turns out. So
did you just wink at me?
I don't think. Maybe I did. It's
a tick.
Yeah.
Right. You need a little break. Let's let Paulie do some headlines.
Yeah, let's do it.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help.
That was good.
All right.
All right.
As the Black Sox pitcher said in Field of Dreams, don't wink, kid.
Don't wink, kid.
Gentlemen, let's start off in Major League Baseball. How about ESPN and Buster Olney catching a little bit of flack this morning for a question that Buster asked of Angels manager Phil Nevin, one of the in-game interviews. Nev is got his arms up on the railing of the dugout. Buster is talking to him mid-game, and here's how it sounded.
The industry filled with all kinds of speculation, questions about whether or not the Angels will trade Ohtani before the deadline. What have your conversations with him been about when you've discussed that?
Really, with him, it's all business. We're focused on winning ball games right now and getting back to where we were a couple weeks ago, and hopefully those rumors go away.
It is a 1-1 tie in the 4th inning when that question was asked. It's tough. I kind of go flip-flop on it because
you gotta ask.
It is the number 1 topic in baseball right now. Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody cares about the Angels. It's just what did Ohtani do? Is he going to get moved? I get that. I don't know that that's an appropriate time to ask that question of the manager in an in-game interview.
Is it one of those where because we know when we had AJ Preller on a couple weeks ago, we know he's not going to answer anything. We know that. We've interviewed AJ enough to know that he's going to literally ignore our questions, but we still have to ask them. Yeah,
correct.
You
have to.
I have to ask AJ Preller, is there a culture problem with your team? And then I know he's going to say, yeah, we're just focused on Cincinnati. I know that. Like, I know that's coming, but I still have to ask that question. So I think I don't think Buster did anything wrong here, in my opinion. Because he's got to ask.
I agree.
Because he could have said,
is it awkward? Sure.
Yeah, it's very awkward. And I think what Nev could, and Nev answered it perfectly. But I think, Nev could have been like, yeah, listen, man, he's a professional. Like, we all know the business part of this. He's going to come in and try to help us win balls.
And I suppose you could have asked it a different way. Maybe like, how has the team handled the distraction of
that's true.
The upcoming trade deadline? I don't know.
It's funny because I've known Nev for a long time, and he's intimidating. He can sound kind of like a meathead. He's a very sharp guy. He understands how it's played and what Buster's job is and what his job as a manager is. He's actually quite subtle and smart as well. There's a reason why he's a manager of a baseball team. There is. He's a smart guy.
All right, in the NBA, as Summer League continues, LeBron James made an announcement over the weekend. Dave McMenamin, Lakers reporter, said LeBron James will change his uniform from number 6 to number 23 next season. Quote, it's LeBron's decision, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports Group told ESPN. He chose to out of respect for Bill Russell. Now, the NBA retired number 6 league-wide last August. James wore it as in a final season to honor Bill Russell. I think there was also something like LeBron was going to change it, but by the time the league made that announcement, they were too close to the regular season. Nike had already printed, a billion number 20 or number 6
jerseys
Lakers
last year.
jerseys,
So,
and the NBA said you can't change it now. It's too late. You're already in the video games. All the jerseys have been printed and shipped out. You have to be number 6. So it was an homage to Bill Russell, but the number is now across the league. It's retired, number 6. So LeBron is going back to number 23.
Man, money.
You say that. I mean, he doesn't get the money, so
no.
I mean, maybe he gets some of it, but
sure
I don't think that's really the motivation.
They're not. Does everybody want to change their numbers?
Here's part of it. So his numbers going up into the rafters with the Cavs, with the Heat, and with the Lakers at the end of the career. Not putting 6 up anymore because that's Bill Russell's number,
so you put
and it's retired everywhere. So he has to have number 23 going up.
So he never wore 23 with the Lakers,
and now he needs to wear 23 with the Lakers. So when they have a number, they have a number to retire.
But he
does retire.
He never wore.
He hasn't worn 23 with the Lakers. Now he needs to start wearing some 23 here in LA so he can get his number retired with all the other Lakers greats up there.
So weird. Planning a guy like that, you're just planning for the rafter ceremony and the Hall of Fame ceremonies. But yeah, I don't know that it was a money grab, but still interesting. I'm like, guy's changing his number like every 2 years, it feels like. But I digress. You guys want to talk a little Hostess treats?
Yes.
Come on, buddy.
Shelly loves those things. I've tried to stay away from them.
All right, Twinkies or Ding Dongs?
Twinkie.
Twinkie.
Really? I thought you were a ding dong for sure.
I like Twinkies.
Well, if you
I don't
do,
really like chocolate cake. You know that?
I don't know that. You don't like chocolate cake?
Not at all.
When did I know that? Why do you not like chocolate cake?
Repugnant. I like brownies.
That's weird.
I like vanilla. You better not be bringing me a chocolate cake for my birthday.
Don't worry.
Bring
I
me
wasn't
a
going
cake.
to.
I know. I didn't think so.
Cancel the chocolate cake.
Vanilla cake.
You don't like chocolate cake? I mean, I think there are better things than chocolate cake, but there's nothing wrong with chocolate cake.
Grody. Never liked it.
Oh.
All right. Well, Hostess is selling a mashup. If you're watching on YouTube, pull it up right here. A mashup between Ding Dongs and Twinkies.
That I would eat. It's covered in chocolate, so I'm all in.
It's got the outer that looks like a Ding Dong, and the inside is a Twinkie.
I think the frosting's the worst part of the Ding Dong. It's kind of a glassy frosting.
It does kind of break up.
Yeah, I don't like the frosting. I think this is actually the worst of both worlds.
But if you eat the Ding Dong with the chocolate in the middle and you're fine with it, then that should be better.
I guess
because you like Twinkie.
I guess so.
Twinkie.
What are they calling it?
Twinkie doesn't need chocolate. Twinkie is better without the chocolate.
Twing Dongs. They should have called it.
Twing Dong.
Twing Dongs.
Pinkies.
Pinkies, yeah. That's delicious to me.
So these have already been spotted at Walmart's, select Walmart's. They're being rolled out across the country this month. So it is only a Walmart thing right now, but it's not a limited time only item. Like this is a permanent addition to the Hostess lineup, and they just says mashup on it.
By the way, Shelly says go with the Mexican version, the Penguinos. She thinks those might be better than the Hostess version. Black and white penguins, black and white. I don't know. I haven't tried either.
I'm trying to
so.
eat less of this stuff. So the
Yeah,
less I know about these
Stop
things, the
talking
better,
about it.
Paulie. Good Lord, man.
I'm about to talk about my diet and all the weight I've lost, and Paulie's undermining me.
I wonder why I'm morbidly obese. Because
You guys
of
like
ding dong
Twinkies out there?
Twinkie mashups. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
That's all I got.
All right. Padres have some reinforcements possibly on the way. Maybe too little, too late, but it does look like they'll get a couple of guys back at spots that they really could use some help this week. Get to that coming up after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. A good afternoon right now to all of our listeners in Ireland who are joining us on Ben and Woods.
The one?
Actually, quite a few. Maddie Janela and John Ashworth are in Ireland right now. They have the Open Championship is this week.
Yes, a major, yes.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy just
On
won
fire.
yesterday, birdied the last two holes in a gusting Scottish wind.
30-mile-an-hour wind. He
2-iron on 18.
He was
10 feet.
He was 200 yards away, right? Hit a 2-iron, which he could normally hit.
I mean,
300
he
yards.
like a 7-iron, 200 yards in a regular wind, but he had 2-iron.
8-iron. Easy.
Maybe.
Dude.
And, clutch performance for a guy who hasn't had a lot of clutch performances lately. Plays well, but usually comes up short in the end. Gets the win, and now you're going to Royal Liverpool this week, which is where Rory won the Claret Jug in 2014. So it's a course he likes. Got good form, as they say, going into the Open Championship this week. So congratulations to Rory McIlroy.
I feel like that never works.
I'm jealous of Janela and Ashworth and Fam over there in Ireland right now. More golfing in the British Isles and the Irish Isle, the Emerald Isle. It looks gorgeous.
It does.
Every picture I see.
It does.
I do have to apologize quickly. You didn't catch it.
I missed it.
But Tier 1's never miss anything.
No, they
in
do, especially
the
a
chat. We were
flub.
talking about LeBron's number change. And when I said, when he was playing over there in Cleveland and Miami, and I said, and here in LA. And
Oh my God.
I meant here on this side of the country, not there, way over there.
Great
But
job.
I know we're not in LA.
He also never wore 23 in Miami. Someone pointed.
You only wore 6 in Miami.
6, yeah.
So it was
So
only
they're-
Cleveland he wore 23.
They're screwed, I guess.
They can't retire LeBron's number in
No.
Miami now.
Co-retirees.
Just have 2 6s
Two
up
sixes.
there. That looks weird when you have 2 from the same.
It does.
Padres need to retire a second 6 as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good.
Oh man,
sorry about that. To our
I
audience.
apologize.
Here
All right,
in
so
San Diego.
it feels like a little bit fixing the barn door after the cows have come home. But what have been 2 of the biggest issues the Padres have faced? Catching and bullpen, and they could be getting 2 big lifts this week. Luis Campusano is catching at AAA right now. Got like a 1,200 OPS on his rehab assignment, and could be getting the call up sometime this week during the road trip to return to the Padres, and would presumably be getting a good chunk of the playing time. I don't know if that means Austin Nola goes to the minors, or if it's Gary Sanchez. My guess would be that it would be a Campusano Sanchez kind of platoon for a while at the catching position. But if he plays well, obviously there's a great opportunity for Luis Campusano to come up and grab that starting job, and maybe even like solidify it going into next season.
Kind of
like
makes you
establish
wonder.
himself.
Kind of makes you wonder why he's not here now. Honestly,
Well,
When
I don't think I think they want him to catch a full 9-inning game before they come up. He's done some DHing and caught like 6 or 7 innings, and they're just trying to make sure that his hand and everything's back and ready. But I think he'll be up very soon.
Good. I mean, because we're literally running out of time. And for any sort of reinforcements, Austin Nola, God love him, but watched him the other day. There's 27 outs in a game. I think he attributed for like 7 of them in one game, that the game he did play in. Double play, strikeout,
And then,
strikeout. It was horrendous.
With the bullpen, Robert Suarez is getting much closer. He is up to AAA in his rehab as well. Hasn't exactly been lights out.
Getting
He's given
knocked around a little bit.
Yeah, some runs. That's not necessarily.
Well, he'll fit right in.
Well, it's not necessarily, you're working on different pitches and feeling okay. It's not all about,
Results.
Results
Process
and
right
attacking
now.
each batter. It's more about what he's doing right now. So it may be a different scene once he gets to the big leagues, but clearly good or bad, you got to get that guy back. He was supposed to be a key member, setup guy for your bullpen this year, and he has not pitched a single inning for the Padres in 2023. That could help. Even if both of those guys came up and Campusano kept, over 1,000 OPS and Suarez was back to his, 1 ERA.
Is their time, yeah.
Is that enough to even help the Padres get where they need to go and win the kind of games they would need to win moving forward? I don't know that it is, but certainly can't hurt to bring those guys up at this point.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we're gonna need the only thing I can think of too with adding Suarez, if he comes in and is good like we expect him to be, Ben, just helps give Bob another option, because when you go down there and you pick up that phone, what are your options right now? Cosgrove's been pretty good. He had a rough outing, took over in a tough situation certainly, but he's been pretty good this year. He's been a nice find. Brent Honeywell, little to no faith in. 0. I liked what I saw from Nick Martinez this weekend. Still don't think that's the right role for Nick. But, that's not my decision to make. And after that, man, it is. I mean, Luis Garcia just murdered us on Friday night. Just absolutely murdered us. And I'm sorry. You have an 8-1 lead. A guy has to come in and be able to get 3 outs. Even if you give up a bomb, whatever, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You cannot sit there and walk guys. You just can't do it. You have to have guys that you can trust to preserve an 8-1 lead. You should never have to go to your closer starting the 9th inning up 8-1. Never.
Garcia is among the biggest non-injury disappointments for the Padres this year.
Absolutely.
What was expected of him
and what he's delivered
to be a very key bridge arm to get to Josh Hader, even if it was
even
the 7th inning, if Suarez was healthy, they were going to rely on him and count on him and to be that guy. And he has definitely been one of the major disappointments this year for the Padres.
Letting that team back in it on Friday night to where they had the tying run on deck, I believe, right? Tying run on deck. Yep. Letting them back in it in that game instead of just completely ripping their hearts out says something to me. And if you're the Phillies, you're like, yeah, we lost that game, but we had a tying run on deck down 8-1.
You wonder if it changed the series
100%
after that.
It did. 100% it did. And you saw it. You saw the ABs that they put together. You saw their ability to string hits together, something this team's been missing all year. And it's so deflating, man. It's the infielders like the 9th inning taking 40 minutes when you have a 7-run lead in the 9th, and I bring this guy in, and Manny's got to come over and, hey, come on, man, let's fire the pill. Let's go, throw strikes. The guy's lost. There's no situation unless we're down 12-1 where I'm like, bro, get out there and eat 3 innings. I mean, that's basically what he's good for right now. And again, I don't want Honeywell in high leverage. Cosgrove, I probably don't want in high leverage. Steven Wilson's back. He was a little shaky, but he's just now getting back. We need bodies, man. We need bodies, guys that you can trust to get outs, and there's just nobody down there.
You wonder if it has a trickle-down effect. Had they not used Hader, does that change the order of guys who come out on Saturday morning, knowing, hey, now we've just used Hader, we've got 2 games today?
Oh, yeah.
Are we,
he's down today.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, or even if they thought they could probably pitch him for one of the 2 games, you're a lot more careful and judicious. Now, they brought in Wilson first in the doubleheader after Snell, and he gave up a couple of the runs. I mean, he was probably coming in at some point after activating him, but I mean, you're trying to bridge. It's just a different game.
Basically, the way I look at it is this: there's a certain amount of innings you have to cover, and there's really nobody down there I trust to cover any of them. And if I don't trust them, I can promise you Bob Melvin doesn't either. It is darts at a board right now when it comes to our bullpen. It's terrible because they're wasting really, really good outings by our starting pitcher. Our starting pitchers, Ben, keep us in these games. And that is all you can ask for.
Incredible.
Our offense gets going. They score early. Then they stop. And then when the clock strikes midnight and you go into extra innings, they literally stop hitting. They just don't hit. No hits. No hits in 4 innings yesterday.
Before you go, do have to note 2 quick things. Congratulations to Manny Machado on his 300th career home run. It was Matt Strom who allowed it. And I would say I feel bad for Matty, but he backed his way into a victory.
Sure did. Vultured one.
Giving up home run. And then the Phillies got him off the hook, but got him a W in that game on Saturday. So Stromy comes out smelling like a rose this weekend. Pitched in extra innings yesterday as well. A couple of Phillies wins. Matty Strom takes part in them. We need to get him back on the show soon. But congratulations to Manny. 300 career home runs and has definitely heated up. Unfortunately, the Padres just haven't taken advantage of it enough.
Kind of wipes out that theory, too. When Manny goes, we go.
Well, I mean, last week when they went 5-1 and Manny was going certainly, and when he homered on Friday and they won, felt like it as well. Obviously went, homered on Saturday and 1 for 5 though. He didn't get 2 hits at least. That was the only.
Woodsy, you're about to take off.
Yeah, going to the doctor.
Got a doctor's appointment. Would you like to hear Ben's flub?
Yes,
I've tracked it down.
I want to. He never wore.
He hasn't worn 23 at the Lakers. Now he needs to start wearing some 23 here in LA.
Oh no, God!
Dave, hold on. Remix.
Ben, you do a great job.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the show.
Bye, Woods. Have a good doctor's appointment. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Woodsy.
We got Sammy Levin in studio, in season. Sammy going to join us next on Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of Ben and Woods on a Monday, live from Checks Notes here in San Diego, California.
We live in San Diego, Ben.
Yes,
We're not in LA.
I wrote that down just so I don't make that mistake again. Woodsy's off to the doctor. He'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. But when we get back from traffic, you will get to hear the in-studio sounds of Sam Levitt, Padres pre- and post-game show host. First, this hour on The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? And where to next for us is traffic with Kelly.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Couple problems wrapping up our morning drive. Collision on southbound 125 just before Grossmont. Looks like a street sweeper and car involved in this one. They're over the right shoulder. And still clearing an accident on northbound 5 near Hawthorne Street. Everything's in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And joining us, not on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline, but sitting in Woodsy's chair. You can see him on the YouTube stream. He's got a green hat with a surfer on it.
You didn't get the memo. It's black T-shirt.
Yeah, he didn't get the black T-shirt uniform
I just
memo.
thought about how I should have got a Grand
Changed
Ole Barbecue
quickly.
hat.
Oh, yeah, well, you can wear mine if you want. Now, Sam Levitt is here on 97.3 The Fan. And first things first, Sammy, I have to offer my sympathy, condolences. I have done pre- and post-game shows, and there were two things as a pre- and post-game show host you hate more than anything else. One, double headers. Two, rain delays. And you got both of them in what must have been an excruciating weekend where you couldn't even, well, at least the Padres won the games or anything. Nope, they lost all 3 games on Saturday and Sunday with 3 hours in between games on Saturday.
I felt bad even texting Sammy yesterday.
And a 3-hour
hey,
wait. Oh.
You good to join us for a phoner after the nightmare of a weekend you had. And what does he do? He doesn't call on the phone. He doesn't call on the phone. He's here in studio. I love it.
It was, it was a doozy of a weekend. Look, the doubleheader I knew about well in advance. We did have the All-Star break to get ready for it, 4 days off. But yesterday with the rain delay, especially after the doubleheader, we were on the air at 9:35. And I'll be honest, impressively, we took it, had content for 3 hours. And then the game goes 12 innings, and the Padres don't find a way to win.
Oh, yeah, and extra innings. That's the third thing that you'd like the least as a post-game
doubleheader,
45 minutes.
3-hour rain delay, 12 innings.
3 extra innings.
And by the way, the Padres lost each and every game.
So how did you spend your All-Star? Did you go home?
I hung out for a couple of days, and then I went to Palm Springs for 1 day. It was extremely hot.
Melted.
It was a bit of a ghost town. I felt I was like one of 10 people at the hotel, which the weather was nice for the pool. Like it was manageable if you're in the pool, and by the pool. But I would like to go back maybe this winter when there's actual people there, because there was like nobody on the street walking around.
November is great for
and then I saw
Springs,
it was like 107, 108, 109, I think, at its highest the day I was there. And then I was watching the local news when I rolled in to Palm Springs, and they said it was going to be, I think, like 121 this past weekend.
That's
which is like unimaginable.
Potentially fatal is what we call that. No chance.
But it was cool. It was cool. It was
not cool.
Well, not cool.
Very hot. All right. So Woodsy talked about this earlier, and you interact most directly with Padres fans after each and every game on the phones. And with the season going the way it is, and I don't give up on anything until as I said earlier, hey, they can still go 112-50. That's the worst. That's the best they could possibly do at this point. Obviously, though, if things don't change very quickly, the Padres are going to make some tough decisions and may have to trade away players. Woodsy said earlier, as a fan, this is the time that he is going to be locked in to see what this team and these players are made of. When the chips are down and it looks like the season is over, who can still give the fans who have shown up and shown out and have sold out almost every game this season, who can keep giving that effort the rest of the way? And Woodsy said that's going to tell him a lot. He says being apathetic, that's what baseball players kind of want when the season's over in September and your team is out of it. What are you sensing from the fans after this weekend?
Well, I'll put it this way. You're right. I interact with fans directly after every game, phone call, social media, just like you guys do for the most part as well. You know, I'll give you yesterday, and I wasn't here in 2021 when things went south. I wasn't here when, you guys were talking about what that team was doing and how that team folded and all of it and the things that came out after the season. I wasn't here for that. But I'll say this, after the rain delay of the game yesterday, I went to the Slightly Stupid concert at Petco Park. Okay,
You did make it out there.
I
Good.
did. Okay, I got there like around 8 p.m. right before Slightly Stupid came on. I've gotten into some of that music since I've been here, and I bring all this up just because I'm there. I'm at Petco Park. There's Padres stuff everywhere, having a great time, and I thought to myself, between how cool this place is, how great the people are, how great you go anywhere in this town, there's Padres gear everywhere. At least I think. You look at the ballpark every night. The fans have done everything you could have possibly asked them, from the playoffs last year to spring training in Peoria. I was there every day. The crowds were unbelievable, into this team, ready for this team, buying into this team, both with their emotions and their money. They've sold out the place almost every night. I'm right there with Woodsy. Win or lose, no matter how this thing ends, the team needs to give the fans something to watch, and the fans deserve it. They deserve more than what this team has given them here in 2023. And I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think lack of execution is the right word. Effort's not the right word. I don't think it's a case of players not trying, of the team not trying, giving up, things like that. And we can talk about the execution, and certainly yesterday, a very, very good example of it again, of the lack of execution in a close game. But these fans, this fan base, this city, this community, with what they've done, they deserve more than what they've got. And no matter, I'm with Woods, how this thing ultimately ends this season, throughout the rest of 162, they deserve the best. They deserve a show. I'm sure the place will continue to be pretty much packed all year. Yeah, they deserve everything this team has, even if they're, 20 games below 500 at some point, which I don't think is going to happen. But they deserve every bit of energy, of enthusiasm, of effort, of passion that this team has the rest of the way. I agree.
Sam Levitt is with us here on 97.3 The Fan, and Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue joined us, and he made the comparison. Padres, Yankees, and Mets, the three highest salaried teams in baseball, all having varying degree of disappointing seasons, but he felt like the Padres were a different case. He sees a lot of sloppy play with the Yankees and the Mets, especially, who we just saw, just kind of bad play, mental mistakes. It's not exactly what we've seen with the Padres. You mentioned the lack of execution. Now 0-9 in extra inning games. It's not like they're missing the cutoff man, though, or they're doing a bad fundamental baseball. They're just not hitting when they need to hit. They're not coming through in those situations. No hits yesterday from what was the 7th through the 12th inning, or no, after the 8th, after Tatis's hit.
Right.
No 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th inning. Not a single hit for the Padres in those four. But we know they can hit. We saw it earlier in the game. We've seen it the last really month and a half, 2 months. We've seen them start to hit, but once it gets to extra innings, it's all gone. It's the execution is gone.
Yeah, and look, to push back a little bit on what Jake said earlier, and I heard the interview. I mean, look, are there elements where they've been quote unquote unlucky? Sure. But you look at some of the numbers and you look at yesterday, which was a prime example. That's not bad luck. I mean, they had yesterday, after the Fernando hit, they had 9 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. They had the sac fly from Soto. That was it. They didn't have a hit with runners in scoring position, including in the extra innings where they didn't have a hit in the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th. I mean, Ben, that's not luck. I mean, that's just not executing. And we've seen it in extra innings throughout the year. I mean, look, I know we've talked about these kinds of numbers all year, and I've been a proponent of, hey, this stuff evens out. Hey, they've done better, and they have with runners in scoring position and things like that. The numbers overall lately have been better. But let's zoom out, 90-plus games in. Runners in scoring position, 222 team batting average, last in baseball. Runners on base, 232 team batting average, last in baseball. Late in close situations, which is a pretty good indicator of big at-bats in a close game, late innings, 194, 28th in baseball. I mean, those numbers, and then you look at the 1-run games, the 1 and 2 run games, the number you brought up earlier, especially since going back to late May, 0-9 in extras. It all kind of makes sense to me.
I mean, it explains why the Padres are bad. It does. It's not like these players have never been clutch in their careers, though.
Right.
They all have been. It's not like they don't own the clutch gene. I know Steph Curry hits big threes. He makes eagle putts to win celebrity golf tournaments. You go, there's someone who's clutch. They need someone like that. Well, Manny's been clutch almost all of his career.
Right.
Tatis has been clutch in his young career. Soto's come up. They've all done it. This year, though, almost none of them have done it in big situations.
And that's where I think, like, the luck thing is probably a fair thing to say, right? So you point out all those numbers, and yes, execution part of it for sure. But yeah, why has it so widespread been that way? Because I don't think guys are going up to the plate not trying to deliver in big situations. It's just not happening, and it's now not happening for a really long time, or at least they can't put together an extended stretch where it happens with regularity. And that is the part that I know you and Woods and Paul and me have been trying to figure out all year, and you can't figure it out.
I'm on record, Sam. I think Bob Melvin is a good manager.
Me
He's
too.
a 3-time manager of the year. He has not forgotten what he is doing. I don't think he's the problem. Doesn't make him immune from some second guessing and decisions. And go back to the bottom of the 10th inning yesterday, Josh Hader on the mound, gets 2 outs. They're 1 out away from winning the game. Runner on third, 2 bases open. Bryce Harper is at the plate. What do you think? What was your thinking in that situation, just as you were watching it in real time? What should they have walked Bryce Harper?
No.
Should they have pitched to Bryce Harper?
They should have pitched to Bryce Harper. You don't put the winning run on
I
base.
agree.
Well, there are 2 situations. Let me go back to the first one with the Hader inning. I mean, you got Hader against Harper. Final out. I mean, I even saw people
Your
on
best against their best.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people on social media yesterday suggesting that they walk Harper there to put the winning run on base when you've got 2 outs in the inning, you're up by 1. That makes no sense. And then look,
I mean, maybe if there's another lefty behind him with really terrible career numbers,
you got
against
Real
Hader,
Mintz behind him.
But you got a
hitter.
righty who's a pretty good player behind him. I just think that's not a good decision.
And then even in the 12th inning with Schwarber, look, yes, you could have walked him, set up the double play, but you've got Turner, who's you're not going to double up.
Nope.
Harper after that, Real Muto after him. I mean, I saw this yesterday. I don't think I had a call about it, but I saw it all over social media. I just think at that point we are so grasping for things to point at and blame. I had no problem with either of them. I mean, I've said it, all year long. I mean, I think Bob Melvin's a really, really good manager. I think with the bullpen, things like that, you have to look at some of the options and how guys that he's had to rely on, he should rely on, guys like Garcia, guys like Martinez, guys like Hill. These are all guys that we knew they would have to rely on at the very start of the season. They've all had their individual struggles. I don't know what he's supposed to do other than give the ball to those guys and hope today is the day that they find a way through the outing and put up a 0. So look, I've been on record saying it a ton. I know you guys agree. I think Bob Melvin is a really good manager, and I didn't have any problem with anything late in the game. I think at that point, you're just grasping.
Yeah, I mean, you're an idiot for bringing in Tim Hill. You're an idiot for bringing.
And by the
in,
way,
I mean, you can only use the guys who are in your bullpen.
And here's the thing. Here's the other part of it. Shout out to Darnay Tripp. I know other station, but
no, he's
okay.
It's fine.
He had
Darnay.
He had a tweet yesterday. I like Darnay too. Good guy. He had a tweet yesterday, something of the effect of, we should have like some sort of system where you have to submit your opinion on the move, on the pitching matchup of the manager decision before it happens.
First guess Twitter.
Okay,
So
first guess
before
Twitter.
second guessing, you first guess.
I want to make the app for it because if we're looking at that yesterday, I mean, I saw it all over the place. I couldn't believe when people were suggesting putting Harper on with 2 outs and not having Hader face him. Like, what are we doing? I mean, again, no hits. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. That's why you lost the game. Guess what? The Phillies got a hit with Harper to tie the game. Execution with Schwarber later. That's why they won the game.
Last thing, Sam, we got about 90 seconds. The situation that got Bob Melvin ejected from the game yesterday Rougned Odor, the pitch clock violation, the automatic strike in the 12th inning. Getting more details about how the third baseman was picking up some trash from the field and everything that was going on. I'm a big fan of the pitch clock. That can't happen, though. In the 12th inning of a critical game for both teams, that can't happen. As Bob Melvin said, it didn't cost the Padres the game, but it certainly didn't help them win it either with that decision. Your thoughts there?
Well, I think if there's that much confusion about that specific moment, I think you've got to just kind of erase what just happened and nothing happens. There's no automatic strike and say, okay, the count's 0-1.
I'd say the same thing about the pitcher.
Yeah.
If he didn't get on the mound in time because everyone was running around, you can't give him an automatic ball in that situation either.
And they're going to have to do a better job with this stuff in the postseason. And as we get later into the year where you're going to have moments deciding pennant races and division races and things like that. I'm with you. I don't know if it takes that much conversation about it. Then I think you just have to wash it away and say, okay, the count's 0-1. We don't know, but we're not going to give you a strike. And I honestly think, like, if you asked Rob Thompson after the game, he probably would have said, you know what, if they just kind of say, we don't know, count's 0-1, let's go here. I mean, I think everybody agrees with that.
All right, you're back tomorrow. We get a 3:07 pregame show for a 4:07 first pitch against the Toronto Blue Jays.
And they have a
Rogers
retractable
Center.
Roof in Toronto.
No rain delays.
No rain
You're
delays.
good there. May have some visa problems or, passport issues getting into the country. Others haven't been to Canada in a while, I don't think.
I've never been to Toronto. It's supposed to be a great city.
Crossing, my brother-in-law used to live there, said it was great. So you're not going, though, tomorrow. You're going to be here, I take it.
I will be here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Toronto series. Sammy will be in early as well on Thursday. You get an extra hour of Sammy and a less hour of us for the series finale as well. So I guess we'll see you in person on Thursday.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
For Woodsy, who is at the doctor's office, we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And for Paul Reindl, all of us wearing black this morning, thanks for joining us. Coach John Quintero, Braden Soprenin. Coming up next, this is San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are Ben and Woods. Thanks for joining us.